The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Volvo. The big event is on now with exclusive discounts on approved used Volvos. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as Scottish football welcomes in the new year. Rangers have the chance to bounce back from their Old Firm defeat when they host Kilmarnock. Motherwell, Hibs, Livy Hearts and Ross County Aberdeen make up the 3 o'clock card, and then St Mirren and Celtic can respond to whatever happens there when they meet in Paisley later. I'm Gordan Duncan, and joining me for the first time in 2024 is Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
The dust hasn't remotely begun to settle after the Old Firm derby, but Rangers and Celtic involved in a day of consequences this afternoon. The gap at the top, 8 points. Rangers can reduce that to 5 if they beat Kilmarnock at Ibrox. Celtic first put St Mirren on the back of the Paisley side, winning 3-0 at Aberdeen. Nothing can be taken for granted there by Brendan Rodgers and his team. What might be more obvious is that Aberdeen manager Barry Robson would be the first casualty of 2024 if his team can't beat Ross County in Dingwall. New year, old ways. It's a results-driven business, top and bottom.
Yeah, the games come around quickly at this time of year, and no matter what happened on Saturday around the country, it has to be quickly forgotten about. The players have to get back to business, and every team in the league will want to sign off for the winter break with a victory today. But important game for Rangers at home to Kilmarnock, equally important for Celtic to follow up their victory on Saturday away to St Mirren. And Hugh is right, up in Dingwall. Can it get any more important for Barry Robson, who is under huge pressure?
Yeah, I agree with Mark. I think every club wants to go out on a high for the winter break. Gives them a bit of opportunity, get a bit of a rest, go and work on different things. You know, it makes it such a better environment to get into your work. I'm looking at a fixture list today. Terrific. I look at the Championship as well. Some terrific games there. So we're in for a real entertaining afternoon.
Yes, we are indeed. Happy New Year from everyone here on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Let's see if everyone is still in a happy, feel-good mood between now and the end of the afternoon. I would not hold my breath. But let's go straight to Ibrox off the back of that defeat at Celtic Park just a couple of days ago. This time it is Kilmarnock the visitors, and Gabriel has the teams.
Yes, I do, Gordon, and a happy new year from Ibrox Park. All eyes are on Rangers to see how they bounce back from defeat in the Old Firm just 3 days ago. Of course, it was manager Philippe Clement's only loss across his 17 matches in charge. The 7-game winning streak came to a crushing end at Celtic Park, but the Belgian will hope it's just a small bump in the marathon that his team are running. There might be an 8-point gap between the two sides, but Rangers know they can cut that to 2 by winning their 2 matches in hand. They must get back to winning ways today. They'll hope playing before Celtic can give them a chance to reapply a little bit of pressure to their rivals. Now, Gordon, the name on everyone's lips here at Ibrox is Fabio Silva. The Portuguese £38 million player was signed on loan from Wolves last week. He's here until the end of the season. He is available today and is amongst the substitutes. The 21-year-old struggled in the Premier League and hasn't played since November, but he has undoubtedly got bags of talent and will want to prove himself north of the border. Let's see if he gets on the pitch today. Clement makes a couple of changes to the side that lost at Celtic Park. Liam Balogun is suspended, so misses out. Dujon Sterling drops to the bench. In come John Souttar and Kieran Dowell. So it'll be the usual 4-2-3-1 formation. Jack Butland in goal. A defence of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Souttar and Ridvan Yilmaz. John Lundstrom and Kieran Dowell will be in midfield. Ross McCausland will be on one wing, with Todd Cantwell in the middle and Abdullah Sima on the left. He's plays for the last time before joining up with the Senegal squad. Cyril Dessers leads the line once again. Substitutes: McCrory, Lammers, Sterling, Matondo, Wright, King, Devine, Nico Raskin, who's on the bench for the first time since October, and as I said, Fabio Silva. What about the visitors then, Gordon? It has been a brilliant festive period for Derek McInnes' side. They're unbeaten in their last 6 games, winning 4 of them. They've climbed up to 4th in the table, which is exactly where McInnes wants his team to be. They had an end-to-end game against Dundee a few days ago. They were moments away from picking up 3 points, only for it to end a 2-2 draw. And Killy know all about beating Rangers this campaign. Who could forget that opening day win at Rugby Park? Yes, of course, Rangers will be out for revenge, and they've got a new manager since then. But with 2 victories against Celtic as well this season, the Ayrshire side have shown they have what it takes to win against the big boys. Team news: and McInnes makes 4 changes to the side that drew 2-2 a few days ago. Dees, Lyons, Watson and Watkins all drop out, and Bada, McKenzie, Donnelly and Polworth come in. And it's a change of shape as well. It'll be 4-5-1. Will Dennis is in goal. It's a defence of Lewis Mayo, Joe Wright, Stuart Findlay and Corey and Bada. Danny Armstrong will be on one wing with Matty Kennedy on the other. The 3 in the middle are Rory McKenzie, Liam Donnelly and Liam Polworth. Captain Kyle Vassell leads the line. Substitutes: O'Hara, Dees, Watson, Sanders, Murray, Davies, Dallas, Watkins and Mackay Stephen. The referee here will be John Beaton, and Andrew Dallas is on the VAR.
Hugh, every game at Glasgow's Big Two is important. It comes with its own pressure, but if you've lost the derby, even if you felt you came close, even if you felt aggrieved at whatever moments of controversy were in there, Rangers need to win today. It's that simple.
Without doubt. But once again, Philippe Clement has proved he is his own man. I'm very surprised at Dujon Sterling dropping to the bench, because after the game, Clement said that he thought Sterling was the best midfield player on the park against Celtic, which flies in the face of everyone else's opinion that Callum McGregor was head and shoulders above everyone else. However, that's Clement's choice to make, as is the decision to leave Fabio Silva on the bench. Cyril Dessers will start with a burden on his shoulders. The entire crowd inside Ibrox will be on his case from the very first whistle, because when you have a poor Old Firm game, and he did, people do not forget. It is seared on the brains of the Rangers fans who watched that awful attempt at scoring a goal when Celtic were 1 up. So Dessers will have to have a very good start to this match, or else I think he will have to come off and make way for Fabio Silva. But Kilmarnock, they need not go there as lambs to the slaughter. They have, as Gabriel said, a reasonable track record against the Old Firm this season, more than reasonable.
Yeah, Gordon Dalziel, you look at Fabio Silva, a very early addition during the January window. We all poured over the signing the other night on the show. At 18 he went to Wolves for upwards of 30-35 million pounds, so there's clearly a potential there. Can he rediscover it at Rangers? And he's straight in, but only from the bench. What do you make of that?
I'm not surprised. He's not had a lot of time to be involved in the training, meet the players, obviously, with the schedule Rangers have got. It's a home game, it's against Kilmarnock, and formed Kilmarnock side, you've got to say, playing very well. But I think it's ideal for Dessers to start, as much as he come in for so much criticism at the weekend and no firm game. It's up to him to go now and rise to that challenge, because we certainly will see Silva at some point this afternoon, and I think everybody at Rangers is looking forward to seeing what he can bring.
And I know, Mark, all of the Rangers fans have got this notion that it's a matter of time and Silva will take Dessers' place, but you never know. Football's a funny business. The chances there for Cyril Dessers to go and perform out his skin, score a couple before Fabio Silva comes on, and keep him at arm's length. It does feel like a lot of the Rangers fans' patience is running low there, though, and they're waiting to see what Silva can do.
Well, listen, they are getting to their wits' end with Dessers, and I think when you put a performance in like you did against Celtic, then it quickly runs out. And when you've got someone waiting in the wings, I think a lot of the Rangers fans going along to Ibrox this afternoon would have hoped that Fabio Silva was starting. There's nothing better than at your club getting a new striker, and getting a new striker that's been bought for 35 million quid, who's coming up from the Premier League. You're hoping to see him from the start against someone who you're at your wits' end with. So I am slightly surprised when he's here for such a short space of time,
even though he's literally just in, like it's so soon, and it's the last game before the break.
We speak about this all the time. What does it matter if you're just in? If you're a good enough player for the club to sign you on a 6-month loan to try and win the league, then maximise the impact and play you from the start. So we will see him, no doubt about it, but I think a lot of Rangers fans going along today would have hoped it was from the start.
What about Dujon Sterling? As Hugh says, I think if we limit it to Rangers, he was almost certainly Rangers' best player at the weekend. Is this very much a horses for courses decision, where Dujon Sterling's real strength, because he's not a midfielder, is his athleticism and the way he was getting about and putting out fires and that sort of thing. Is that something Philippe Clement doesn't think he needs as much at home?
Maybe the case, Gordon. I'm slightly surprised at the decision, because if you take it further than the Old Firm game at the weekend, we watched him in the cup final. He was man of the match. He was terrific. So he's been in good form, probably Rangers' best player over the last couple of important games. So I'm a bit surprised with that. Dowell's sort of flittering in and out the team. One minute you think, yeah, you can bring a lot to the party, and next minute he goes a bit quiet. For me, it'll be interesting. I think that's a big afternoon for him in front of a packed house at Ibrox as well. I think there's a lot of players there got to stand up and be counted, because as much as the disappointment of the weekend against Celtic, you've got to now kick on and beat an in-form Kilmarnock side with Derek McInnes. We know Derek's very well clued up in tactics and the way he can go there and really frustrate Rangers. So it's up to Rangers to come out the traps very quickly.
Cantwell's another one that has to perform today. He's gone missing on the big occasions several times. He's been withdrawn several times from Clement. Now Kilmarnock's not a walk in the park. You've seen the season they've had. It's going to be a tough afternoon, and these are the games where your creative players have to stand up and be counted. So a big one for him.
Hugh, if this was at Rugby Park, everyone would be really focusing on the high chance of Kilmarnock getting something. They would deserve that prediction. You look at what they've done already against Celtic and Rangers twice. What is it then? Is this the Ibrox factor? Is that why there's not the same belief in here? I suspect Derek McInnes will believe he can go and cause a shock,
without question. It's a tough afternoon for Rangers, because after a defeat from Celtic, now we know it was mired in controversy because of VAR. However, Celtic were deserved winners in the long run, and it's a tough one for the Rangers fans to take. The next game you have to compensate, and in full. 3 points. Dessers has to look like a player, otherwise they'll be on his back. Cantwell, as Mark rightly says, was schooled by Callum McGregor, and he has to show that he's made of better stuff against Kilmarnock. There is absolutely no margin for error, as there is no margin for error for Celtic and Paisley, but Rangers are first up. They have no margin for error.
Ross County against Aberdeen in Dingwall. Dave Galloway is there. How much does Barry Robson need a win, Dave Galloway?
Absolutely, Gordon, very well put. The phrase last chance saloon certainly springs to mind ahead of this match, with pressure piling up on Robson in the wake of an absolutely dreadful display in Saturday's home defeat by St Mirren, after which Robson and skipper Graham Shinnie both publicly apologised to furious fans. And as has been mentioned earlier on the show, one has to wonder what the repercussions could be for Barry Robson if they don't win here today. But that's easier said than done, isn't it, against the Ross County team, which impressed in their draw away to Hearts. Derek Adams is demanding more of the same this afternoon, and victory would lift the Staggies above their struggling visitors heading into the winter break. To the team news, and it does make very interesting reading. Just the one change, firstly, for Ross County. In comes Victor Luturi replacing Scott Allardyce, so it's 4-4-2 for them. Ross Laidlaw in goals. At the back, James Brown, Jack Baldwin, Ryan Leake and Ben Purrington. Midfield, Jan Danda, Max Sheaf, Victor Luturi and Josh Sims, with the twin strike force of Jordan White and Simon Murray. The subs for the Staggies: Monroe, Turner, Harmon, Henderson, Samuel, Brophy, Nightingale and Reid. Now, as for Aberdeen, well, the supporters have long been crying out for and demanding that Barry Robson ditches the back three, back five, and it looks like he's done that. It looks like the fans are getting what they were wanting, and that is a back four. Firstly, there are 3 changes. In come Jack McKenzie, Connor Barron, Dante Polvara, dropping out of the opening lineup. Richard Jensen, James McGarry and Duke. So it's Kelleroos in goals. It looks like a back 4 of Nicky Devlin, Stefan Gartenman, Slobodan Rubezic and Jack McKenzie. Connor Barron and Graham Shinnie, the sitters, with Leighton Clarkson, Dante Polvara and Jamie McGrath for the forward. Bojan Mijovski, of course, leading the attack. The subs for the Dons today: Doohan, Jensen, Duke, Hayes, Sockler, Morris, Duncan, McDonald and Milne. Match referee here in Dingwall is Matthew McDermott, and Nick Walsh is doing VAR.
Quiet afternoon for the officials, I am absolutely certain. What about Motherwell? They eventually got back to winning ways. They go to Easter Road, watched by Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, you're spot on, Gordon. I think we've been talking about Motherwell and the long run of games without a win for months now, and on Saturday, as you say, they beat Livy 3-1 at Fir Park. I was there, but such is the crazy nature of Scottish football, Motherwell will be 2 points behind Hibs if they win here at Easter Road today. And they've actually got a decent record in recent years, 2 wins and 2 draws in the last 5 games. And you add to that, Hibs get 4 long-term injuries and also 4 players away in international duty. Motherwell must come here with a little bit of confidence they can actually get a win, although the squad has been decimated by injuries and suspensions, but still a strong starting 11. 5 academy players on the bench today. Hibs had a good run of 4 wins from 5 in late November into mid-December, but haven't scored or won in their last 2 defeats in a row. One in the Edinburgh Derby, of course, and Martin Boyle's missing. He's on international duty, and up to others to step up and score the goals today. Venta and Doidge will be up front. Now Montgomery's had a bit of time to assess his squad. He's played quite a lot of youngsters, and like Motherwell, quite a few young players on their bench today, which is the advantage of having all these injuries. He's had some decent form, but now he will have the opportunity. It's his first transfer window to bring in a few players and move some on to put his own stamp on the team. Win for today could see Motherwell rise to 7th and make the winter break a bit happier for those around Fir Park, but 3 defeats in a row, I think, for Hibs and the supporters coming here to Easter Road today, I think it's just unthinkable. So a fascinating 90 minutes ahead for Hibernian. They've made 4 changes, 3 out for international duty. Miller, Bushiri and Boyle, and Campbell picked up that bad injury against Hearts. In come Hanlon, Whittaker, Ewan and Doidge. They go the usual 4-4-2 formation. David Marshall in goals, Rory Whittaker, Will Fish, Paul Hanlon and Jordan Obita at the back. Ellie Ewan, Dylan Levitt, Joe Newell and Jair Tavares in the midfield. The 2 strikers, Christian Doidge and Dylan Venta. The subs for Hibs, Matt Johnson, James Jeggo, Lewis Stevenson, Sean McCurdy, Riley Harbottle, Rudy Molotnikov, Ruben McAllister, Dean Cleland and Josh Landers. 3 changes for Motherwell. Blaney and Shaw out, picked up injuries at the weekend, and Brodie Spencer is suspended. In come Mugabe, Slattery and Payton. It looks like just a normal 3-5-2 formation. Liam Kelly in goals. A back 3, Stephen O'Donnell, Bevis Mugabe and Paul McGinn. Across the middle, Blair Spittle, Davor Drakowski, Callum Slattery, Harry Payton and Georgie Gent. And the 2 strikers, Mika Biereth and Theo Bair. Young bench for Motherwell, as I said: Aston Oxborough, John Obika, Nathan McGinley, Lucas McDermott, Luca Ross, Max Ross, Dean White, Cammy Booth and Callum Butcher. And the referee today is Don Robertson, and VAR is Kevin Clancy.
Looking forward to that one for sure. Hibs against Motherwell. What about the other side of Edinburgh? Livy are the hosts for Hearts. David Friel.
Yeah, and Livy in a bad way, Gordon. I think the stadium DJ's got a bit of a sense of humour. He's just finished playing Love Is In The Air. I think it's an old John Paul Young classic. I'm sure a Gordon Dale favourite. But there's not a lot of love between David Martindale and his players just now. He's normally so supportive in public, but I think he's fallen out with pretty much most of them. He wants a new Livingston after a nightmare end to 2023. 2 points from the last 12 games, 6 points. He certainly let rip after that defeat to Motherwell on Saturday. He said it was shocking, he said it was unacceptable, and he said it was shambolic. I think that's the language of a manager at the end of his terror with a group of players who are badly struggling right now. He wants a reaction to the against Hearts in the last game.
Oh, I think we'd lost David Friel for just a bit too long that time. I thought he was going to pop back up.
Nothing's working at Livingston anymore.
Exactly, that's it.
The post he can't even deliver.
David Martindale, since he does everything, he's usually in charge of sorting the telephone masts out and about in the local community to make sure we get the signal we need.
David spoke long enough to let us know the truth of the matter at Livingston. It's not going their way. It hasn't been going their way since the season started. David Martindale did throw his players under the bus after their latest defeat, and it all smacks of a team who have mastered the art of survival but can master it no longer.
Dundee St Johnstone is off, remember, due to the waterlogged surface at Dens, not for the first time this season and possibly not the last either. So we'll try and hook you back up with Livy Hearts teams very soon, and we'll take a look back at some of the last week's biggest talking points next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel in the studio. The top team are around the grounds, looking forward to a brilliant Tuesday, I think it is, afternoon. Feels a bit like a Saturday. We're in our sort of usual Saturday format, if you like, with games going on in the afternoon and your chance to have your say a bit later. What that means is what we usually do on a Saturday. Once we've got the team news under our belts, we look back on some of the main talking points from the previous few days. So today is no different, and you'll be pleased to know, Fraser Wishart, is your favourite subject. I think VAR. It was never going to be the case that a Celtic Rangers game passed without incident. This is a bit different though, even by our standards. This is quite the interesting drama.
Yeah, it's all a bit strange, Gordon. I mean, I wasn't at the game. I was listening to it because I was you guys in the show, because I was at Motherwell game. Then I watched it back, and I think it's all a bit strange. We seem to get our knickers in a twist, for want of a better phrase, over something like this. And I know it's the Old Firm game and everything's magnified and exaggerated, but I mean, you have to assume that Nick Walsh didn't see the handball as he gave a goal kick. So then it's up to Willie Collum in the VAR. He says it's no penalty, and that's okay. That's okay. I disagree with him. I thought it was a penalty, but Willie is a VAR referee, so just stick by that decision. But then, and I thought that should be the end of the matter. But the protocol seemed to be, you look at that, then you look at the offside. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you look at the offside first? Because anything else after that is actually irrelevant. So you don't have to make the big decision on the handball. And I'm just thinking, well, did Willie look at the offside? Probably not, because he wouldn't have had time. The game was ongoing. He had other things to look at as well. And if it wasn't Willie, then why and who got involved afterwards and decided to tell the media 30 minutes later? And it just brought this whole suspicion and mistrust and people asking questions, when the answer's probably fairly straightforward. It should have been left to Willie's call. Respect his decision, whether it's right or wrong, and I say I disagreed with it. I thought it was a penalty kick, but that's fine. Willie Collum, an experienced referee, he made a proper decision, and that's fine. We can all agree or disagree with Willie, but again, for whatever reasons, I don't know, did somebody else get involved, and why was it reported so late to the media? And that just brought more suspicion on it. And the answer is probably fairly simple, and I think that Rangers will continue to chase for that audio and an explanation in the coming days. So hopefully things will be clarified, but yeah, it's all a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, David Friel, in essence, what it looks like has happened is Willie Collum doesn't think it was a handball, or doesn't think it was a clear and obvious error, and therefore is not interested in giving a penalty. Now, loads of people can disagree. Fraser can disagree, Hugh, yourself, Mark and Gordon can disagree, but it's just kind of what he's there for, and you take that in the chin. He doesn't think it was a penalty. We now know that even if he did think it was a penalty, it wouldn't have been given anyway. It would have been overturned because there was an offside in the attacking phase of play. So there is a thirst there to hear exactly what and why and when. What's your take on it all?
Yeah, pretty similar to Fraser, to be honest with you, Gordon. At the time I was confused. I was there covering the game. I was confused when we saw the still come up in the Sky image, and everybody just assumed, oh well, that must have been offside, that must have been why the penalty wasn't given and Nick Walsh wasn't sent over. But that wasn't the case. SFA then clarified, no, it just wouldn't have been given anyway. So I don't know what the motivation was to put that offside still out, because all it's done is take a controversial incident and just added more layers of confusion, uncertainty, whatever you want. I think the SFA, whoever decided to put that out, should just have had, just the courage to stand by the decision and just say, well, you know what, Nick Walsh either missed it or didn't think it was a penalty, and Willie Collum didn't feel a clear and obvious error had been made. I think by trying to then add additional information, and maybe it was done with the best intentions, I think, as I said, it's just led to more confusion and more suspicion, and Rangers are going to keep pressing for this. Obviously there's been 2 statements so far. I believe James Bisgrove has spoken to Ian Maxwell over the phone, but I dare say there will be a face-to-face meeting between officials in the coming days. I don't know if Rangers will get the audio. I'd be surprised if they did, because I would be surprised if the SFA want to open that avenue for other clubs to ask for it down the line. But I do think everybody probably deserves an explanation as to why that offside still was put out, because I just don't understand it.
As the guys have said, Hugh, maybe it was well intentioned, and it's probably made it worse, because here we are days on, and we will continue, there's no doubt about it, to sort of analyse and go over a process which ultimately, how do I word this without, Rangers haven't been robbed of anything. There is no sense of injustice really, because like we said, in the end up there is no outcome that leads to a Rangers penalty there because of that offside. But that's not the point for everyone, and people want that clarity and that accountability and so on. So it's very, very Scottish football, all this.
Yeah, very west of Scotland too. In the eyes of supporters here, If there is no transparency, there is secrecy. If there is secrecy, there is suspicion. And that's the way we like to work it here. The fans believe that something shady has taken place. That's why I think Rangers should get the audio. When we had the infamous case down south involving Liverpool and Tottenham, eventually we got the audio released to bring an end to the matter, because people were talking about replaying the game, which was never ever going to happen, and will never ever happen in this case either.
Just on that though, is there an obvious difference that in that case the procedural error, the massive error that was made, led to a team having an injustice served to them? You know, so a team missed out unfairly because of that.
Yeah,
whereas that's not really the same here.
No, but I go back to our unique ways in the west of Scotland. People think that something has taken place, which, to my way of thinking, has not been the case. So in the interest of transparency, let everyone hear it and how the decision was arrived at. Like everyone else, every time I look at the incident, Alistair Johnston's hand gets heavier on the ball, but that's not the point, because the penalty was never going to be given on the basis that there was an offside in the lead up to that. And I think the Old Firm game demands a controversy. There can't be a winner and a loser. There has to be another story attached to this game. And some fans would like to cling to the idea that Rangers have in some way been done out of something, which is transparently not the case. But let there be transparency so that there are no accusations of secrecy.
On that though, Fraser, I wonder how difficult that is. I'll just make my position very clear on this. I can't be a hypocrite, because being the presenter of this show, I hope they do release the audio, and I hope they release the audio of every single incident, because it'll be brilliant and it'll be blockbuster. So I can't be two-faced about that. However, if I was not me, and I was, I don't know, Stephen Naismith or Stuart Kettlewell or Barry Robson or Stephen Robinson, I've probably asked for VAR audio already this season to try and understand what's going on in a perceived sense of injustice against my team, and I've probably been told no. And now all of a sudden, because it's this game and it's big and there's a big hullabaloo about it, you know, we must have that. Is that problematic to do it now?
Well, it's problematic for the SFA, because they've said no to, if they have done, and I'm not aware of any other manager that's not been given the audio. But
just to clarify that, I'm not saying for sure, but I would just be amazed if those types of conversations haven't taken place. You know, that way where managers say, I want to know what was gone into that process.
Totally, and I do wonder whether, if they do release it, then that's going to open up a can of worms, as you said. You know, with other managers, other clubs say, well, wait a minute here. You know, we're Motherwell, we're St Mirren, we're Hibs. I'm watching today. You know, so they demand it, and then it becomes the norm every week. So that's a decision for the SFA to make. But these things do happen in other games, and I won't tell you who the teams are, but there was a game this season where it was quite similar, where the referee didn't give a penalty for a tackle that was being reviewed by VAR, and the two captains approached the referee and said, what's happening? And he said, well, we're going to look at the penalty and see whether it was a penalty or not, and then we're going to look to see if it was offside. And I spoke to both the captains, who both said to me that they said to the referee, you're not better looking at offside first? Yeah. And then it doesn't matter if it's a penalty or not. So I do wonder whether processes need to be looked at as well, because it's almost exactly the same here. If you look at offside first, then you don't even have to look at the handball, because it's offside. And the whole thing happened in this game where the referee gave the penalty, and then there was another review for offside, and it took almost 5 minutes out of the game. Whereas you look at the offside, you draw the lines, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and it's all done. So I think that needs to be looked at as well. But you're right, so down to the SFA, you know, if they have said to other clubs, no, you're not getting the audio, they can't just buckle now and say just because it's Rangers or it's Celtic or it's a big club or whoever, then we're going to do it. So it's a really interesting thing that's opened up a whole can of worms here by not simply just saying Willie Collum said it wasn't a penalty, rightly or wrongly. Willie Collum, and we'll stick by him. Whoever decided, well, let's open it up, let's try and justify it by saying it was offside anyway, has just opened up a whole can of worms. It's a real mess.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Fraser. My suspicion is that Willie obviously didn't think it was a penalty. It comes to half time, and perhaps he's looking at the incident again, like Daz did to the left. He didn't think it was a penalty at the time. Come half time, he changed his mind. Now, bear in mind, referees can do that as well, and then he knows it's a mistake. However, Fraser is right. Whoever then says, oh, wait a minute, actually it's offside, this will get you a hole, and to release that, has caused all sorts of trouble, and they've caused this situation for themselves rather than just own the mistake. But I agree with you, Gordon. You can't release the audio. Everybody, every single week, will be asking for audio after this.
Well, why not then? But it just maybe that is the case. Maybe that's the route to go. And I think IFAB have probably got certain. We've seen it in the English Premier League, and they've really opened it up this year. It comes a bit retrospectively. What is it? It's like every so often they'll look back on certain incidents. Up here, Sky have done it once this season. I think the SFA's plans were to do it after every round of fixtures.
I feel if that's going to be the case, then just release the audio. We're going down the road of like rugby, where you can actually hear the on-field communication for every decision, not just when you feel aggrieved by or hard done by, because it's a hard, it's a hard work story for managers.
That stretch then, that's an IFAB thing. You're just not allowed to do that right now. I don't think we can just rock up as of the first weekend back after the break. We'll just hear everything. I don't think that's even within.
If we are
the powers that we have here,
if we are, and we should be, interested in the business of justice for all, then if it's opened a can of worms, open it fully and give Rangers the audio and let them hear it. And when Stuart Kettlewell or Stephen Naismith or Nick Montgomery or anybody else requests the audio, let them hear it as well, because VAR is supposed to be about arriving at the right decision, which involves the minimum number of mistakes being made. So here we have a situation whereby, whether it's Willie Collum, Ian Maxwell at the SFA, whoever, if you can put people's minds at rest that was the way the decision was arrived at.
That's the thing though, that's just not possible here, is it? I mean, already I can see tweets coming in along the lines of Rod saying, I mean, Gordon, you've decided it was offside. It's like, no, I didn't decide it was offside. There was obviously
it was shown to be offside.
There was the check, and that's the bit you're placing your faith in the software and Hawkeye. And then CDG saying, Gordon, you're telling lies. It's only offside when the attacking player basically touches the ball. Again, that's not true. So I'm not saying you're telling lies, CDG, but as long as Seema is challenging Alistair Johnson, then it would. So it feels like this. It's spiralled majorly, Gordon, all this stuff.
Yeah, I think Fraser makes great points in the fact that I think it's all down to the timing, Gordon. First and foremost, I think we all agree there were no wrongdoing. When I looked at it, and Mark was right, I called it at the weekend and said I didn't think it was a penalty kick. Then it wasn't until the half time I looked at it and I thought I got that 100% wrong, because it was a Stonewall penalty kick. If Seema had been onside, then they had to put this out, because we were watching it here. Obviously we've not got the volume, and we were all a bit surprised why it come up so late. And the explanation for me, it was just trying to help the officials basically get out of a situation where Nick Walsh obviously didn't think it was a penalty kick either. In real time, I don't think the penalty kick was going to be given. Obviously Willie Collins there for the VR to help, but I think it's the timing of it. But I think Fraser makes a good point, and I think players are starting to look at it now. Check the offside first, then you've not got a problem.
But again, that won't be just that's not just Nick Walsh and Willie Collum that have decided to do it that way. Do you know what I mean? That's going to be an IFAB FIFA approved process that's in place.
In the context of Celtic and Rangers, the people who are emailing you believe that fundamentally somebody's out to get them.
No, fine, but I'm talking about Gordon's suggestion or Fraser's, and I'm not saying I understand it, but we're not just going to suddenly check them in a different order because there's been a bit of a hullabaloo in an Old Firm game.
I just mean in the context of this particular match, this particular call, for heaven's sake, just let's have clarity and let there be justice being seen to be done. There you are. That's what happened. That's why no penalty could be awarded.
And look, we can, no point in speculating too much, Fraser. You kind of just have to let this play out. But let's say Rangers do get the audio played to them privately, or whether it becomes public, I don't know what it will say. But if it's Willie Collum who's saying, I don't think that's an unnatural movement of the arm, so therefore no penalty. Where do we go from that? I know people might disagree with that, and they might be really angry about it, and they might think it's a really terrible call. But are we in like scandal territory there? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand how that's that different from, say, I don't know. I see the Liverpool game last night. Everyone's whinging about a dive, and I see Martin Odegaard's handball last week, and everyone thinks that's is it is it this suspicion that the offside thing is some sort of cover up? I don't know. I'm trying to imagine what comes next.
I don't know, and I think everybody just assumed at the time that before the offside was released that it was just a handball. And I said earlier, that's fine. Stick with Willie Collum's decision. You saw decisions down in England and all these games you've mentioned as well, where the VAR still get it wrong, in my opinion, and it's only an opinion. And that's one of the things that VAR was sold. It was going to solve all ills. And you see figures where there's only 3 decisions out of 400 that were made wrongly. It's all rubbish. These decisions are purely down to opinion. My opinion might differ from yours, Gordon, from Willie Collins with Hughes as well. And my experience, all these things, not saying anything and not releasing and not doing it, just creates more suspicion. And then when people do hear the audio, they'll probably say, "Oh, is that it?" Because in my opinion, Nick Walsh and Willie Collum are professionals, and they'll have acted within the guidelines, within the protocols, and I'm sure when people do hear what was said, they'll say, "Is that all it is?" But until Rangers and Rangers supporters are satisfied with that, then it's just not going to go away, because we see suspicions sometimes where suspicions are not there.
VAR has also introduced, Fraser, an element of complexity. Now we're talking about the offside that comes before the handball, and people would appear to be having difficulty getting their heads around the fact that something happened before the handball, which negated the penalty. So that level of complexity, I think, is too much for some people.
Yeah, which goes back, Hugh, to the stuff I was talking about earlier on about the process, and Gordon's right, it'll probably be an IFAB, so you can't just change it overnight, but let's learn from it and change it, because the offside's a fact. You trust the software, you trust the lines. That's a fact. It's not a matter of opinion, whereas the handball is a matter of opinion. So let's go with the fact first. Why are we not looking at offside first? And that might be an IFAB decision, but let's get that changed as soon as we possibly can. And remember, the SFA have 2 people that sit on IFAB, so we can propose things and we can change it. So therefore, it just kills it dead, and we're not sitting here with all this suspicion going on. Was it handball? Was it not handball? The fact is, it doesn't matter, because he was offside. That just kills the whole thing. It's really weird.
I was going to say that we'll draw a line under that and move on to today's games, but I don't have that power. I think that's an absolute dream, but we will see what happens in the coming days and weeks, and you never know. We'll probably get a new controversy this afternoon that will kick that one into the long grass, or maybe not. But we'll get back to the 3 o'clock games next.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel and Hugh Keevins are here. We are less than 15 minutes away from some fantastic fixtures across the Premiership today and beyond. We will go back to Ibrox and build up to kick-off, so let's revisit Ross County against Aberdeen. Educate us with West Coast bias, Dave Galloway, because a quick glance at Aberdeen's last 5 games shows 3 wins, 2 defeats, and one of them was a 1-0 defeat in a cup final. That doesn't sound catastrophic, but it feels like the Red Army are not as understanding.
No, that is very much correct, and more fans that I speak to, as well as more and more fans that I've seen on social media, they're calling for a change of manager. Aberdeen, as I've mentioned previously, they've played very well in little bits and pieces of games here and there, but there's been no consistency whatsoever, and even allowing for the European games, etc., making them tired. That's no excuse for some pretty pathetic performances so far this season. Incidentally, the fans, they've sold out their allocation, Aberdeen, of over 2,000 tickets to come to Dingwall, which is absolutely fantastic for the new year, and they will not be slow to voice their displeasure if things aren't going well. I think a lot could hinge on how this game starts. Ross County may be second bottom at the minute, Gordon, but they'll be very confident of building on a pretty good performance against Hearts and really piling on the misery for a nailing Don's team, and of course beleaguered boss Barry Robson. Could this be his last stand today? We'll wait and see.
Wow, big pressure according to Dave Galloway. Ross County taking on Aberdeen. Did you get your Wimpy, by the way, or are they shut for the 2nd of January?
I did, thank you. I had a big and mighty. Very nice.
Honestly, a new year, same snack choice before the games. Just recovering from the big and mighty.
Big and mighty is more than you can say for Aberdeen, let's be honest.
I like it. I see what you did there.
And as Wayne Rooney found out earlier today and acknowledged, football is a results driven business. For Ross County to beat Aberdeen and go above Aberdeen at the start of a 3-week winter break must be unacceptable to the Aberdeen fans, of course, in great number there at Dingwall, but also to Dave Cormack, the owner of the club. It's quite straightforward. They cannot be languishing down there any longer. It's gone on long enough. Unless Barry Robson can prove he's capable of turning the corner, then I'm very much afraid that, like Jim Goodwin before him and like Stephen Glass before Jim Goodwin, Aberdeen cannot go on the downward spiral for indefinitely.
If we're on the theme of assessing how managers are doing or how teams are performing overall, Fraser, I wonder if there's any manager or any team anywhere in our league that are just as middle of the road as Hibs and Nick Montgomery. Do you know what I mean? There'll be loads of teams out there who you think, oh, they're not having a good season and the manager's not doing well. There's then a couple, not that many, that you'd say, oh, they're having a good season and their manager's doing well. Whereas, I mean, to state the obvious, Hibs are 6th, they're bang smack in the middle. It feels like you can kind of see what the manager's doing, so the style looks good sometimes, but it maybe doesn't translate to results. It just feels like everything's just right there at a sort of a level par, if you like. Maybe a bit below.
It came in at a bad time, Gordon, for Hibs. I mean, I think Hibs fans knew the players as well as anybody, but Lee Johnson would have been the good manager, but he came in at a time where the morale was low, the fans weren't happy with the team playing, and he did change things round. He's got them playing some decent stuff, but there's still just something not quite there for the club. But he also came in with about 3 months to a transfer window, and sometimes that can be seen as not a good thing because you want to change things quickly, but it's probably given him and bought him that little bit of time to assess things. As I've said many times, they do play 4-4-2 formations. You know, they play with 2 wingers. They give it a go. Now, sometimes that's worked, sometimes it hasn't worked. You know, and I think defensively is where he'll look to make his changes. They've lost 27 goals in their 19 games so far this season, and I think that's just too many for a club like Hibs who want to be challenging for 3rd and 4th and being in Europe again. So I think you're right. I think he has been given a bit of time. I think people have just come in and maybe quite calm. He's quite understated as well. There's not really too many emotions come out from him, so maybe that's something that the Hibs fans like at the moment. But after this window, players in, players out, and then the summer window beginning the next year, I think that's when he'll be judged. But managers in general don't get time. But you're right, he has been given a wee bit more time than most, and rightly so. He's got a young bench today, and so for both managers, if they want to change things, and managers like to change tactics and freshen up as well, they're going to have to turn to their bench, and he's not been shy about playing young Rory Whittaker and Josh Landers and 1 or 2 others, Bolotnikov as well. So it's great to see these young guys getting a chance, and today I think this game could hinge on whether one of the young players can come on and swing it either way.
Let's try David Friel again. I know we had signal difficulties. David, I wonder how much the January transfer window is sort of looming large over that fixture that you are at today. Tete Yengi has been signed by Livy, he's on the bench, and everyone in Scottish football, I think, having a look at whether Lawrence Shankland is a Hearts player for much longer.
Yeah, and I think the Hearts fans will be thinking that as well, Gordon. They're all here today, huge crowd of away fans, hoping it won't be his last game for Hearts. If it is going to be his last game, he's certainly going out on a high in terms of his goal record so far. He's got 16 in his last 5 games, 17 for the season. Hearts desperate to keep him. They want 3rd place, put themselves in a decent position to get it. I think a win today would just crown that off. He does lead the line today, but I think Hearts really, if they want to have ambitions of getting that European spot, that guaranteed European spot and finishing 3rd, I think they need to keep a hold of them. But as Stephen Naismith already said, there is interest in them. If a bid comes in, if the board find it acceptable, I think Lawrence Shankland will be going. But I think the one good thing about the player is he doesn't seem in any rush, he doesn't seem unsettled. He's playing the best football of his career for me, scoring wonder goals week after week, and he'll be an important player here again today. I'll try and run through the teams for you. It's Jack Hamilton in goals for Livingston, Tom Parks, Ayo Obalai, Mickey Devlin, Jamie Brandon, Scott Pittman, Jason Holton, James Penrice, Andrew Shinney, Stephen Bradley, Curtis Guthrie. Hearts are Xander Clark, Frankie Kent, Craig Halkett, Stephen Kingsley, Toby Sibbick, Callum Ewenhoff, Peter Herring, Alex Cochrane, Alan Forrest, Kenneth Vargas and Lawrence Shankland, and Andy Halliday is among the Hearts subs.
Right, what about Ibrox then? Gabriel, kick-off not far away.
No, Gordon, we've got 6 minutes until kick-off here. A huge game and a must-win for Rangers after defeating the Old Firm just 3 days ago. Let's give you a run-through of the starting 11s again. Rangers making 2 changes. It's Jack Butland in goal, James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Tuta and Ridvan Yilmaz. John Lundstrom and Kieran Dowell in midfield. Ross McCausland, Todd Cantwell and Abdullah Simmer play behind Cyril Dessers. Fabio Silva, the new signing, is on the bench along with Nico Raskin for the first time since October. Killy, though, will fancy their chances after beating Rangers on the opening day and beating Celtic twice already this season. They play a 4-5-1 formation. Will Dennis in goal, Lewis Mayo, Joe Wright, Stuart Findlay and Corian Barder at the defence. Danny Armstrong will be on one wing with Matty Kennedy on the other. Rory McKenzie, Liam Donnelly and Liam Polworth are the midfielders. Kyle Vassell leads the line. As I said, Gordon, a huge fixture coming up at Ibrox, just 5 minutes away now, but we will have a minute's silence before kick-off to remember those who tragically lost their lives in the Ibrox disaster on this day in 1971.
Well, it's the 53rd anniversary of that happening, a day that will be forever on my mind as a very young reporter sent to Ibrox on that day, and the tragedy that unfolded defied belief. So it is, of course, fitting that Rangers recognise the 66 who lost their lives, and that silence will be respected impeccably.
And with that in mind, let's take a break and kick off coming next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We are minutes away from kick-off in the 3 o'clock game. Some brilliant fixtures to look forward to. Rangers, Kilmarnock, Hibs, Motherwell, Livy Hearts, Ross County, Aberdeen, and later St Mirren against Celtic. Hugh Keevins, let's do it. Let's start the new year, right?
Yeah.
New year, new you, and all that rubbish that you have to put up with. Let's try and get some predictions right this year. Can you do that for us?
I shall try my level best. Rangers Kilmarnock, home win. Hibs Motherwell, draw. Livy Hearts, away win. Ross County Aberdeen, away win. Barry Robson to stop the rot. And St Mirren.
Oh, you can get to them later if you want.
Well, my feeling now will be my feeling then. Celtic away win.
Okay.
I'll go for Rangers home win. A draw between Hibs and Motherwell. A draw between Livy Hearts. Ross County to beat Aberdeen. And Celtic to beat St Mirren.
Full house at Ibrox for me. I think it'll be a difficult one. Rangers to beat Kilmarnock. Hibs, I think, will beat Motherwell. Livy and Hearts, I'm going draw. Aberdeen and Celtic.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Make your life that little bit easier. Use their free prescription delivery.
And I just want to very quickly give you an insight into how our reporters out there get straight to the cutting edge of all the big issues. There is no stone left unturned to uncover all the big stories and scandals from across Scottish football. David Friel's telling me Hearts are in their pink kit. Gabriel is telling me that Todd Cantwell has a man bun instead of a hairband, and Dave Galloway has sent me a picture of his big and mighty. Things that you never thought you would say.
Yes, the big and mighty is a winner there.
As he's wimpy, isn't it?
He's wimpy. Yeah, he's burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
He's had a good new year.
I would have thought that after his Old Firm game, Todd Cantwell would have more to worry him than messing about with his
but
hair.
you see, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a new hairdo for the new year. Change, a bit of luck, bit of superstition. The hairband's gone. It's the man bun. I'd like to see one of you with a man bun. I don't know which one.
In my heyday, I could have probably got one of them, because I had the feather cut then. That was the real.
Which is ironic, because right now the man bun portion of your head is the only bit that's missing.
It's
It's like
gone,
somebody's
yeah.
ripped off. The rest is there actually. The rest is doing fine. But the man bun bit,
The man bun's definitely gone, but we've got a plan
there's a
for
penalty
it.
spot.
We've got a plan for the new season.
Oh,
yeah, me and Dan, producer Dan, he's been out at Turkey. He's learnt a few home tricks. So wait and you'll see me within the next couple of weeks.
sounds ominous.
Yeah.
What, you
I
get,
don't-
you
I
get
don't know if
I'm
Dan
getting
wanted
a hair
that
transplant,
share.
or is this something
I'm
different?
getting the magic sprinkle in the house, just rather to put the what do you call that, hairspray.
Oh, you getting a little bit of powder or a cover up?
yeah.
Oh, I
It's
like
gotta
the
look
sound of that.
great.
And what comes out of that? Just powder to cover up your bald spot?
I've not tried it yet. It's my sample's sitting there, so I'm going to come in and just see you.
Surely when you look at your bald spot, I'll just say that's covered in powder.
No, it doesn't work that way.
What's technology?
Is it hair that comes out of it?
Oh, everything, yeah.
And so what? Do you
I'll
need
need to go to barbers.
Is it like when you go to B&Q and get a colour match for your wall?
Yeah, that's
Is
my
it-
problem.
is
That's
it a
my
bit like
problem.
that?
I've left this to producer Dan. I'm a bit concerned about the colour. I don't know if it'll match.
I like the sound of that. Can we do that live on air at some point?
Yeah, maybe do it next week.
Now that we're in the,
seen it's a
we could
winter
live
break.
stream during the week.
That'd be nice.
What you don't know is you, Mark Wilson, are applying the powder
I'll
to
put
his
it on
head.
happily.
Yeah, I need to know the colour. That's my big problem.
I had my moustache shaved off in George Bowie's programme.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who shaved
By
it off?
Taylor Ferguson.
The hairdresser.
Yeah.
How long did that take? 10 seconds.
Oh, it was a bush. Have you not seen it?
Yeah, I've seen Hugh with a moustache.
I have to say, it's the type of stunt that would surely work better now in the live streaming era. I don't
Of
know if
course.
it makes for great radio, just the sound of a razor.
Get him to grow it back, and then
do it this year.
Get Taylor back in.
George had me doing everything, and including the shaving of the moustache.
I think that's something we could look into. More ridicule for you three this year, I think.
Yeah.
I think that should be how we start
It's a vote catcher.
the new year. Anyway, there was almost a Livy goal in the first couple of minutes. Obalai's header saved, then the volley rebounded over, a big chance. Jamie McGrath's shot deflected away for a corner as Aberdeen looked to make something happen quickly, and Frankie Kent looks in pain and is down injured for Hearts. That's a bad start to the new year. Tavares with a lovely low cross for Hibs, but no takers, much to the relief of Motherwell. So nice lively start. Who will get the first goal of the new year?
Yeah.
No, it's just that's just the way you package everything at this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
First goal, first big talking point, first
Yeah.
red card.
I'm going Aberdeen because I think they need the first goal. I think they need a quick goal.
Might
So
come in
I'm
the
going to
Championship.
Mighty Dawn.
A lot of good games in the
we're
Championship
not
as
gonna wait
well.
down there, are we?
Maybe Thistle, maybe Mull. The club
Not
that
old.
employs me.
Mold.
No, I'm still.
He's been sacked already.
I'm still there for now.
Anyway, Rangers against Kilmarnock. Derek McInnes has just done such a good job, hasn't he, at sitting fourth in the table. As we said, those famous wins already.
Yeah.
Need to have clocked up 3 against Glasgow's big 2 by the time you reach the new year.
I know.
Really is something, isn't it?
But
I know they were all at Rugby Park.
He must still be twitching though after Joe Shaughnessy's goal to make it 2-2. You know, you score in the 103rd minute, you're entitled to think that'll do us. But Joe Shaughnessy, and a marvellous, powerful header it was too, got 2-2. So take nothing for granted, Del.
Oh, it was a great finish, that, wasn't it? Because I know, and it's unapologetically, I know that the headline grabber is always Celtic Rangers and everything that went on within it. But it was actually a brilliant day of fixtures in the weekend, wasn't it? There was so much happening. That's before we even get to the Arbroath goalkeeper, Ali Adams, coming on as an outfield player.
That's
scoring.
That's goal of the weekend.
Goal of the season.
It's got to win the old, what's it called, the Puskas Award. I think it's genuinely got to. There's got to be a contender.
You think we've spoke about Lauren Shanklin's goals and his finishes recently and up there for goal of the season, but
I mean,
you think
context is important though.
Yeah,
as well.
Context, but technique, distance, how it flew in as
Hold
well.
on a minute, is he playing today? Have we
There's
not?
a
He's on the
chance.
bench.
There is a chance to
bench.
replicate it because Arbroath have 3 substitutes, him and 2 outfield players. I think one of the outfield players has been on loan in the Lowland League at East Kilbride and has just been recalled. So there are only 3. So there's every chance the big man
Oh, he's coming on.
might get the chance
got
to go
to,
back on.
hasn't he?
Although Jim McIntyre has said he will not put him on again as an outfield
But
player.
unless he has to.
Well,
But he might have to, because again, the other day, remember, they were forced into it.
yeah. He's
Why not when he scores a crack?
That's one of those things, because is he likely to do it again?
Yeah. Up for a header.
You don't want to be
Corner
famous
kick.
for having a goalkeeper on the bench who comes on as an outfield player. Makes you
Oh,
look Mickey
yeah.
Mouse,
Should
is
be
it not?
more of that, shouldn't there?
Like,
There should be
they've
more goalkeepers doubling up as strikers.
I mean, he's genuinely across all different platforms, and there are various versions of the video, I think, but it's like 6, 7, 8 million times it's been viewed.
It's all right.
That's
Something
surely
that's
worth
like
getting them on.
Worldwide fame.
Even more than the Dazzler tried to empty a coffee cup over a desk.
Yeah, that was a real highlight of 2023. I must admit.
I was just like Willie Collum and Nick Walsh. It was a mistake.
Maybe you two actually. I'm thinking, what day is this? Tuesday. What about you two on the live stream Thursday night?
What?
The Scottish Football in 2023 quiz. We could do that, couldn't we?
I get a quiz back.
We could look back
Enjoy
on
a good quiz. I was watching Jeopardy yesterday, Hugh. You're a man that watches Jeopardy with Stephen Fry.
That's right.
See that?
Is that new?
Aye.
I thought that
was on yesterday.
That was a nonsense.
What, did you watch it?
Yeah, for 25, 50 pounds and all that.
There's no way you would have got even one right.
Oh,
it was difficult.
No, I'm a 1%, man. I'm a 1%.
Gordon Dalziel and I text each other during the 1%.
Yeah.
See, I'm into that group.
Yeah, you've got to get. That's where the big guys come in.
Good work from Cantwell with the man bun. Seema's ball in is cleared, so Rangers trying to fashion a bit of an opening, not a big chance as such, but it was good tenacity from Cantwell, who won it and drove forward, skipped a couple of challenges, and then played it out wide to Seema, but again nothing really came of it in the end, because I don't know, you players will know, Mark, and you were closer to the social media age. How much attention do you pay everybody, every pundit, every Rangers fan, every Todd Cantwell fan? You know, it's not even unfair criticism. It's not people having a go, but everybody noticed how on top Callum McGregor was of Todd Cantwell the other day. Do you think he'll have been stung by that? Do you think he's aware of it? Do you think he want something he wants to make up for?
Well, of course you're going to be aware of it, because where he was in the game, he hardly got a touch of the ball. He was just overshadowed. He was then taken off, so he's aware of it in that respect. But when you're across social media like Todd Cantwell is, it's very difficult to avoid then the criticism. You take all the credit, but you open yourself up to this stream that will be constant for you. So Cantwell will get it.
Do you think he reads it?
I suspect he would.
Ooh, big goal. Let me tell you about this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
First goal of 2024. Who had John Guthrie of Livingston on their list? Because it's Livy 1, Hearts 0.
Did I say a draw there today? And I get some stare from across the studio from Mr. Keevins.
It's a big goal.
If they say, what are you even thinking?
It is a big goal.
Did he score up at Pittodrie as well, Guthrie? I think
Yeah,
a couple of
he did,
weeks ago.
Yeah, he put them one up there.
He's the only one. Him and Pittman are the only ones recently that can score. What a goal that is.
Maybe it helps when you throw the team under the bus.
Maybe.
That's
they
man
have
management.
responded.
That's man management for FB. Davey knew what he was doing.
Cyril Dessers hits the outside of the post, a turning shot for him as he looks to get in the score sheet, but it's only John Guthrie who's on there at the moment, which means, Hugh, time for us to do this for the first time this year.
Here we go.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The second.
Straightforward. There are only 4 players to have scored a hat-trick in the Premiership during the 2023 calendar year. Name them. There are only 4 players who have scored a hat-trick in the Premiership during the 2023 calendar year. Who are they?
Good question. Very, very interesting set of answers. I'm willing to tell you that, and you can read into that whatever you want at Clyde SSB. See if you can come up with all the answers and do it before everyone else. It is a race, and just imagine swaggering into 2024 knowing you were the first winner of the first half teaser. And our esteemed colleague Andrew McLean is quite right to point out that I called him John Guthrie. It's Curtis John's the guy that used to play Curtis Guthrie with the goal. My apologies. And his goal might not stand anyway because it's being checked at the moment. So you can forget. You can call him whatever you like because the goal might not stand. So we will see. Still waiting. David Friel's not entirely sure what the check is for, but there we go. Possible offside. And again, why not?
It's all the rage. Offside.
Listen,
VAR.
It would just become the first VAR check of 2024, wouldn't it? So that's all right. We can wait and see.
We've got 4. Is that the?
You've got to understand that. See, people listening at home, they don't know that
you're 4 of the answers.
that you're just doing the answers, and so when you make those weird noises,
Let me tell you, one of the 4 is correct.
hopeless.
We've got one. Okay. Which one's correct?
Don't know. I've got a feeling it might be the last one.
Let me see your list. Give me a laugh into the new year.
What one is correct? 1, 2, 3,
second
4.
one.
Second?
Yeah, I
Who's
think so.
that?
Yeah,
Let's see.
I think so. This doesn't work on
That's the
radio.
one I told you.
What's the one you told me actually? Scored these 3 off.
Yeah, I was on fire. Get that quiz lit up on Thursday night. Let's see what he's got.
I'm up for
Nah,
that.
we're not doing that.
No, I think we
nonsense.
should. No, I think we really should.
There's no market for it out there.
There is.
No. You like it because
I
you're
love the
actually
quiz.
because you're actually quite good at.
We could
things
do a
like that.
picture round. Get a picture round up.
No.
Now that we're streaming live.
Yeah.
And we've got the TVs in there for us to look at.
Oh, the best picture I saw over the Hogmanay and New Year period was Gordon Dalziel. It's offside, no goal. Curtis Guthrie.
Oh.
There we go, he's offside. Will we have shouts from Livingston to release the audio? If one man can get it, I think David Martindale's your man.
He could squeeze the SFA, couldn't he?
I think that audio will appear
Well, you spoke about the car worms
on
earlier.
a USB stick through the letterbox at the Tony Macaroni within the hour.
Or Ian Maxwell sleeps with the fishes.
Anyway, offside, so no goal yet. The big, as I said, the best picture I saw over the festive period, I think, was Gordon Dalziel fully tuxedoed
Happy with that.
for his Hogmanay celebrations. Where were
I'm
you?
glad you brought this
I'm
up.
just in the house tradition.
Well, there's an issue here because the picture you put on Instagram, if you're trying to pretend you were in the house,
Yeah.
you've got the worst wallpaper of all time,
Yeah, that's
and
not
you've
a
got a
good
wee
choice.
sign that says like fire escape procedures on the back of the door.
Well,
See, I'm a
just-
actually,
yeah.
so I know that's a hotel room.
It's a safety issue that I have in the house. I've got them in all the doors. I actually fire exit this way to the right. I've got all that. I'm right up to my safety department.
You
but
can head over to Gordon Dalziel's Instagram and tell me what you think. I had no other reaction than to very quickly Google Lou Carpenter wearing a tuxedo just so that I could find a similar picture. And let me tell you, Hugh, the resemblance was uncanny.
I zoomed in on it. It's very rare that you see a tuxedo with 3 buttons nowadays. And it's a 3-button.
How was it with a 3-button?
I don't see it that often.
I thought
Well, you
looked
should
quite
know
sharp.
you were wearing it.
I didn't even know. I don't count the buttons. I just slip suave in it.
So somebody commented that you looked like a snooker referee. And by the way, they are spot on.
See what I produced,
All
a
you needed is
pair
a
of
white
white
glove.
gloves. Well, I thought I was looking very dapper, I must admit.
Super.
By the way,
Did you have to buy that specifically, or do you own one?
right, hold on a minute.
People are saying 007, which is really
Right, forget about that. Right,
distracting.
there's a guy on here. He must have had a glass of red wine. He's been on here for years and he's never produced a funny. And he tried a funny on our WhatsApp, didn't he?
Who's this?
Lord Wishart.
What did he say?
He should have got a XL shirt or something, right? I'm not too happy. Imagine taking criticism.
Did you
you know what I mean?
Did you have a New Year's celebratory drink or two when you went on your Instagram?
No way.
Because some
Yes, they
Some-
get a comment.
some poor fan has just tweeted looking good DL. Now they've spelt it DALZ
I done that next day.
DALZELL, which is wrong, but
Yeah.
that is a legitimate alternative spelling of DL. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the way the steelworks and stuff is
Yeah,
spelled.
but
is
I'm
it
not Steelworks.
Going to straighten that bow tie up, but it looks like it fell off a bus. To which Gordon replies, "Would take that advice, mate, on board if you could spell my name correctly." Have a nibble, why don't you?
Oh, I was giving it to him,
Have a
wasn't I?
wee nibble right
I
in the
am
new year.
not-
He's like Todd Cantwell. If you put it out there on Instagram,
to
you've
take
got
it.
to take the criticism
I'll
about
take-
your bow tie.
My bow tie was sitting absolutely perfectly. I had it measured.
Ants McLean, all the best, legend. Remember to keep the white ball clean.
Oh,
You
that-
did look very snooker referee.
I
You know,
could- do you
less
know-
James
do you
Bond,
know
more
s-
Crucible.
No, I'll tell you what, I got a lot of good compliments. I really did. I stood out. I just decided, okay, the wallpaper's not the best. I should never have picked that, but
Just cutting about the house, man.
cutting about the house in a
Tuxedo on.
tuxedo.
Is a casino missing a croupier? Says Campbell Fraser.
Yeah, well, I've heard them all before. As I say, I was such a high going into 2024 New Year. This is going to be the year of the DL, right? And then Wishart with his shirt comment. What is he all about? A face turned inside out and he's slaughtering me.
Do you know what I love though? Do you know what my favourite genre of social media interaction is? Is the listeners who think they're kind of being kind, but they're obviously not. Like it's a real backhanded compliment. There's one here that says, might be an awful pundit, but your some laugh and keep me listening. Thanks for that.
That's producer. That's big producer John that said that. I tell
A
you.
good time though.
Why are you dressed like a penguin for?
I'm not
says
dressed like a
GGD?
penguin. You've got to dress up nice. It's the end of the year. Celebrate the new year coming in.
If you're dressed like a penguin, that would take the biscuit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah.
2024's off to a bang with Shug.
Anyway, Todd Cantwell's been booked for having a wee moan at the referee. I think a bit of a dissent. John Beaton is the man in the middle there. So we're about 15 minutes in at Ibrox, goalless. 15 minutes everywhere actually goalless. We thought we had a Curtis Guthrie goal for Livingston, but offside, as is the way of these things. And we'll see what Davy Martindale thinks of that one later on today.
He could certainly have used a leading goal, but that's the way it's running for Livy at the moment. But it sounds as if they're more than holding their own against the Hearts.
I'm just surprised to hear that Andy Halday's back amongst the subs. I thought he'd been
Good on him.
Thought
See,
he'd been
1
binned.
week with me, Gordon. That's all he needed, and he's back in the squad. Wonder what the future holds for Andy. By the way, speaking about Shanklin, did you see his finish the other day as well? Great finish. I know we talk about the ones that go into the top corner and, you know, spectacular ones, but sometimes those little ones into the bottom corner shows what a top striker he is.
He has got every finish. I think he's shown that this season, hasn't
and
he?
that's what we need going to the Euros.
Did you
We
think
need
about, I
someone.
was going to say his header for Scotland.
Yeah.
Then you've got some long range left footed stunners. Weak foot, you've got the kind of predatory instinctive ones.
He's in a no lose situation, isn't he? Either he gets a big move in the window, or he gets a bumper contract at Hearts, which reflects his importance to them. Because if you take the Shanklin goals away from Hearts, there's not a lot going on there.
However, it's hard. I know he can score sometimes from outside the box, but Hearts have hardly been near the Livy box so far today. So he needs his teammates to try and get him in at least a certain area. Corner Rangers, Seema's cross deflected, one of those that nearly sneaks in at the near post.
Mull team are doing well in the Championship. Gordon, 1 up at Dunfermline.
Big game, that.
Oh, there'll be what, 9,000 there today. Played in a few of them. They're terrific games, especially East End Park. Played in a few of them in my day. 12, 15.
Wraith have scored, I think.
Yeah,
actually.
they have. Yeah, I've given you that.
Oh,
update.
sorry. I just got a message from Gary. I thought it was after your comment, but you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I
My
can't
apologies.
give you the name of the goal scorer. If it was old days, it would have obviously been me. But these days are gone.
Kieran at the movies is on about you and your tuxedo. He says Gordon Dalziel 007, 0 top league titles, 0 style, 7 divorces.
Yeah, okay.
You've got to just take that in the chin, don't you? In the new
listen,
year. These things happen, don't they?
I put it out there to take it on the chin.
Donnelly's gone off for Watson for Kilmarnock. A change, must be an injury if it's this early on. The latest instalment of Connor Goldson being pulled and falling down in the box at a set piece has taken place. I don't think this one is going to come to anything. We always talk about the ball having to be, or the offence having to sort of stop the player getting to the ball. Doesn't look much different from some of the other ones.
Hey, what? It's in the ball's in the vicinity of where Goldson would be heading. It's a recurring theme, and I'm not saying Goldson's
refs waved that away,
diving or anything like that, but players who get so close to Goldson who feel like they need to get a grip of his shirt, and you just think, you know where he's going to go, you know the area he's going to run in, just give yourself an extra yard and don't give him the option of going down. But
anyway, nothing doing on this occasion. It is still goalless there, and unfortunately across the board as well. Why don't we use this lull to check in on your teaser, please, Hugh, because it's a tricky one.
There are only 4 players who have scored a hat-trick in the Premiership during the 2023 calendar year. Quite an amazing stat. Only 4 players scored a hat-trick during the 2023 calendar year in the Premiership. Who are they?
Aye. And there are a few. Let me see your list again, Hugh. Let me see what we're dealing with here.
Sure.
I suspect there might be more than 4 actually. It wouldn't be like us to bring in the new year.
remember that game?
Oh no, hold on. No, I take that back. We've just got the It's just a month or two out. Someone had me worried there with the one that I thought I can remember him scoring a hat-trick, but I'm forgetting calendar year.
Yeah, give us a few wrong answers, Gordon, so I can rub my
Are you
legs.
two needing help, are you?
Yeah, just so I can rub my list out here.
Right. Okay. It's unfortunate. Right, let's see. Chris is okay. Celtic FC 110 has thrown in Kyogo.
No.
That would be That would be one of the most common wrong answers on there. Another.
So adamant.
Remember, it's just 2023, so you're looking at the second half of last season and the first half of this season. Another really common wrong one. Kevin Van Veen.
No.
Not there. And this is the one that had me worried, but this was October 2022. James Forrest.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Calendar year.
Gordon Dalziel, that name you're showing me is one.
Right.
Okay. I can see some people giving it a really good go. Stephen Graham would like to throw in Duke.
Throw him back out.
Throw him back out, Stephen. He's not one of the answers. If I've helped you along with eliminating some of them, send some new ones into us, please.
I think I've got an absolute cracker here.
Good for you. Now keep it to yourself if you don't mind.
I will.
Yes, well done. Congratulations.
I'm on fire. That's a tux.
Oh, yep.
That's a
Very
tux.
good. That's the tux. Have you returned it yet? Was it a hire job?
Oh, it's a hire. That's a free hire all day long.
Oh, did you get a freebie?
Must be. Knowing this man's
No. That's one I've got to say it was
a few years ago.
they sort of dust it down with a wet damp cloth just to make
But it
it
looked a bit
look
tight.
shiny. It was not tight. Is that
And like I say, you don't see many three buttoners nowadays.
a slim fit, nice, lovely shirt to go with it. Sticky
Slim
bow.
fit. That's a skinny fit.
New
you had
shoes, couple of blisters for
Christmas.
Obviously dancing up and down the hall, the exit aisles.
I know it's funny that who puts new shoes on for a night in the house.
I know.
Strange.
I got to break them in.
What were you watching on the telly at New Year?
Oh, everything. I put on a few records. A few records, a bit of accordion playing. I got my accordion out.
Sorry?
My accordion.
All right. I'm so glad we've got one of these to interrupt.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal, Aberdeen. They needed it and they've got one. It's Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1. The ball broke to Jamie McGrath. He slammed it home. Barry Robson will be relieved for now. This is not over by a long shot, and I know Ross County are 100 times worse than Morecambe, but they still could come back. It is worth bearing that in mind. VAR check for a penalty handball for Hibs as well. Starting the new year the way we ended the last one, but no penalty here.
Huge sigh of relief for Barry, because he must have understood with that big travelling support, if you don't get off to a good start like you rightly said at the start, then you're under severe pressure. But
can he celebrate? I mean, has it been cleared by the machinery?
I think we're good so far.
Gate 10.
That's the one thing that frustrates fans. You know, every time you mention a goal, Gordon, you think, yeah, but will it stand?
That's never going to change, really.
No.
It's here for good.
That's what comes with VAR. Hold your celebration.
I must admit, if I had to go back and play, I would not like to be involved in these games nowadays.
Well, I think if you're a goal scorer, it's a nightmare. You know, you celebrate a goal. The greatest thing about playing football is scoring a goal. You've got to admit that, Mark. Yeah, you scored what? 4
I
or
scored
5
a lot.
year days?
No. I was
10.
bit more than that. I think I scored about 12 at United, 3 screamers at Celtic. 4 actually, including the cup final goal.
Stop.
4.
Any at Bristol? Any?
1 at Dumbarton.
One?
No.
Was it free kick at Dumbarton, was it
at
not?
Bristol.
No, it was a screamer against Rangers,
against
remember?
Rangers.
I told you this story.
So
And I
was.
didn't score any when I returned, so a good return.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
We'll give them a bit of
you
credit
start
where it's
that.
due.
You start that up beside Tavernier. That's a good return. The full backs.
And it quite stack up, does it?
Yeah, because I was waiting for you going, that's okay for a full back.
Well, to be honest, I was on the penalties at Dundee United, and I told you when down to Rugby Park and we were 1-0 down, we got a penalty. I missed goal he saved that Ian McCall got the sack.
Did you see
night.
Mark O'Hara's penalty that he missed?
Genuinely, and you know we like Mark. He's been on the show before. He had a wonderful season last season. He'd even opened the scoring in that game. One of the worst you'll see, isn't it?
I thought in the moment I saw it, I thought he looks like me taking the penalty.
It was just
He's missed a couple.
And
now,
was he
hasn't
off the pitch for the second penalty?
Yeah, I think so.
By that time, yeah.
He just got it all wrong, didn't he? Like you could see he tried that stutter, I think halfway through the run up, and I felt for him.
Aye.
It was so wide.
Well, it softens the blow when you win so convincingly and you're on the score sheet anyway. But it was poor from Mark. Nice lad, good player. I take it he'll be in the starting lineup.
You wonder if
later on.
if they got a penalty kick tonight, who would take it?
Unless, he did go. I think it was an injury that forced him off the other day. I think.
He's being assessed, as we say in the trade.
To double check there. So still goalless between Hibs and Motherwell, Livy and Hearts, Rangers and Kilmarnock, but Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1. There you are. Note it down because we lack imagination. At some point we will ask you who scored the first goal of 2024, so you might as well get it written down and know that it was Jamie McGrath.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
Thistle won up as well against Queen's Park. Harry Milne.
Yep, your employer. You happy with that, are you?
Oh, delighted.
Gordon Dalziel's favourite team, of course, as well. I think that would be one of my favourite discoveries of 2023. Would be your interview that you did in the magazine back in the early 90s, where you showed not only us but the footballing world just how complex a character you really are.
Do you know what happened to me over the festive there? I went out for dinner and I was sitting at a certain table, and I got introduced to the people. Didn't
just
really
go to the
know.
drive-through instead.
No, I didn't really know them. Got introduced, and one of them was the commercial manager of Partick Thistle. That didn't get down
He
too well.
texts me saying,
I didn't get down
saying
too
I'm
well.
sitting next to such and such.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
They've shaded the opening and they have a lead. It is Hibs. Illy Yuan with the goal. Hibs 1, Motherwell 0. Something Nick Montgomery, I'm sure, was hoping to see early on in the new year. Motherwell got their win, but they're still right down there, of course, and they find themselves behind at Easter Road. Illy Yuan with the opener.
Well, Hibs 2 games, 2 losses back to back, no goals, and no Martin Boyle today either. Not that he's been any great shakes in the goal scoring department this season, but he's gone off to play for Australia, and that's a welcome start for Nick Montgomery. Another pain in the neck for Stuart Kettlewell.
Illy Yuan, you know he's got that in his locker. Gordon, it's obviously more of an issue about how often he can do it, but he picks it up, cuts in from the right, beats 3 defenders and scores with a low left-footed shot. Deserved lead as well.
Yeah, as a manager, he's probably up there as a frustrated player. You know, you look at him, you know what you quite rightly said there, Gordon. You know he's got it in abundance. He just doesn't produce it often enough, but when he does, it's usually spectacular. I fancy Hibs this afternoon, but I'm still a bit confident Mother will get something, because I think that one thing that Hibs are very, very poor at is defending. I don't like them at all, but unfortunately Motherwell's the same, because they cannot keep a clean sheet, and I think Motherwell have lost the most amount of goals in the Premier League. Yeah.
Well, look at Rocky Bashiri and that Edinburgh derby. You know, the fundamental stuff for a centre back. He made a complete mess of it, and Shanklin punished him.
Yeah, I agree, Hugh. I take everything for Shanklin, because I love seeing goals and especially the quality, but the defending was shocking.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
We have another goal, and this time it is in Dingwall once again, and it's Aberdeen who have doubled their lead, and Jamie McGrath who's doubled his. Will we get our first hat-trick scorer of the new year to add to last season's teaser that you got in front of you? Great play, Clarkson. McGrath had a tap in, and Barry Robson feeling much better about things now.
Well, you see, my New Year resolution for 2024 is going to be the end of me saying, well, that's that game finished, over and done with.
Is it? That's your New Year's resolution?
Yes.
I don't think you can stick to that.
No.
You'll have that broken by 4 o'clock.
No, I'm trying to keep myself calm. Even though Aberdeen are 2 up and they're playing a team who are 100 times worse than Morecambe, I'm not going to say that's it, over and done with.
Do you not think so? Aberdeen game is Ross County's not.
Big chance Kilmarnock. It's a huge save. Jack Butland. It was Watson took it off Cantwell, slipped it Vassell. He's clean through, he's 40 yards. It's the best chance of the game. And how often has Jack Butland bailed Rangers out this season? He's done it again.
Yeah, well, he's been without doubt the best signing made by the club in the summertime. The old star jump to prevent anything happening there. But fair play to Kilmarnock. We're nearly half an hour in, and Rangers have to atone for losing to Celtic in the derby, and Kilmarnock are more than holding their own.
I think the centre forward's got to do better.
But this is the thing, they always do, don't they? I don't think that's.
Because the reason why, Gordon, I don't think that Kilmarnock, could be wrong, will create as many good chances as that.
And when you're through on goal,
when you're away at Ibrox, I think you have got to be clinical. And look, as much as terrific save, he spreads his cell, he does what good goalkeepers do. I think you've got to do a wee bit better than that.
Without doubt, it's a top save though. Goalkeeper does his job. If I was Rangers fan, I'd be concerned that the massive gap in the middle of the pitch just to allow Vassell to run through. By the way, he does well to go across Suter. Dessers got labelled that at the weekend. He should have went across Alistair Johnson, just taking him out the equation. Vassell does exactly that. His first touch is brilliant, takes Suter out the game. Second touch is even better. But the finish,
I'll tell you who you've got to question. Goulson. I do not know where he went there. I don't know what he got dragged into the middle of the park, but he left that enormous gap, and Kilmarnock nearly punished him.
That is brilliant though. This revelation announced live on air that Hugh Keevins has got a New Year's resolution, and it is to stop saying that games are done and dusted when they might not be. That's sense.
I'm trying to calm myself down. I feel the need in 2024 to be more circumspect.
Amazing, honestly. What about you two? You got any New Year's resolutions that you'd like to share with the country?
I'm certainly going to look at my health. That's my big one.
Does that involve? Because you're quite an active.
I know.
61-year-old.
I'm taking more active.
You've been fasting last year.
Yeah, I'm getting
clearly not worked.
I'm getting right. It's worked. Do I see the shape of me there now? I'm getting right into my badminton. I'm going to continue with my badminton skills.
So, just in a nutshell, your New Year's resolution is to play more badminton. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't judge.
Yeah. You happy with that, Mark?
Listen, I'm along the same lines. Just
you want to play more badminton?
I will play more badminton.
That's a rubbish New Year's resolution.
Coincidence, by the way.
I thought it was supposed to be something a bit more profound. There we go. Play more badminton.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Mark.
Be more. Mine's is all surrounding my goal of climbing Kilimanjaro in July.
Yeah.
So I have to climb more Monroes purely for training purposes, and so I don't die on the mountain. So
that could be. You could go with him. That could be.
By the way, there we go. More active.
Look, you know me. He's going up mountains. He's away for days. Right? Many days is it?
I'm away for a week.
Right. There's no
how many games of badminton could you play in that time?
And how many toilets are in Kilimanjaro? Right.
Firstly, right,
none.
Into the new year. This was something that annoyed me last year, so we need to nip it in the bud early. Can you stop calling it Kilimanjaro?
What's that?
Right, it's a bit different.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Up the mountain, but there's no toilets whatsoever, no facilities.
There's a wee,
no, there's not.
That's another resolution.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Feed the bear. He's finishing off. He finished off 2023 with a goal, and he's up and running again. Theo Bair has equalised for Motherwell. It's Hibs 1, Motherwell 1. How good was his goal at the weekend?
By the way, his goal at the weekend was brilliant. I know we saw some great ones in Celtic Rangers game, but that's up there as well. Brilliant skill, great little ding. Delighted for him because he's one that came in for criticism before he'd even kicked a ball for Motherwell about the lack of goals in his game, and then he sort of kind of backed it up with a lack of goals. But great run of form he's in.
Fraser Wishart says it's against the run of play. We don't worry about those types of small insignificant details, Fraser.
Motherwell are playing the counter this afternoon.
It's a nice reverse pass from Mika Biret and fired in by Theo Bair.
I told you that Hibs can give you up goals, and listen, that not by the finish of goals at Easter Road. It'll be interesting to see the crowd there. I always like the crowd at Easter Road. There'll be a big crowd there supporting Hibs, but I think Fraser will get more goals this afternoon. He seems to be picking the games with the goals just now, the Wizard man.
Shankland hits the bar with a header, so Hearts getting a bit closer there. Still nothing at Ibrox, still Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 0. You could tweet us your New Year's resolutions if you wanted. If it's something really good that you want to share, I'd love to hear from them, because I must admit, play more badminton and climb more Monroes is fine, but I think I'm looking for something a bit more.
Do more for charity, I meant to say.
Oh, I like that.
Aye, do more for charity.
I thought you worked for a charity until
I do more for charity, but I'll hand in my notice and I'll go to Thistle.
I just spread the charity work. I was doing too much for that charity, so we'll move on to other charity. You want to do any charity work with me?
No, I'm easing up my functions this
charity
year.
Kilimanjaro climb.
I'm easing up my functions. There's absolutely no way you'll catch me out there. That's
You're easing on your functions.
Yeah, I'm
what you're after dinner speaking functions.
I'm declining a lot of invites I'm getting lately.
And actually, we've got one at the end of January, if you know.
Where?
A function.
Aye,
maybe.
Can't cancel that.
So you can't cancel that. So
I can't cancel that.
What about you, Gordon? Any?
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions.
Do you not?
Come
on.
Well, mine will be boring as well. See, it's easy. I just criticise you three, and mine would be every bit as boring.
See what I'm
Just like
doing.
usual.
What I'm doing, like
exercise more, read more books.
Yeah, what I'm doing is like everybody else, right? I'm doing dry January. I'm not having a glass of wine or anything like that.
What?
To be fair, after seeing the Nicky in December, I think it's a good move from you.
The full
You made
January.
a few regrettable decisions in December. So.
A few comments that have not went down well.
I know. I'm lucky he's still be standing here.
Afternoon bosses, if you're listening. Hugh, you'll not be doing dry January, will you?
You should forget that.
Nah, it's got to you.
I was watching that Jeopardy programme yesterday until the youngest nipper, who's 8 years old, came in, and I had to spend 2 hours watching. Is it Square Bob Sponge Pants?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Even you must know what the real title of that is. SpongeBob SquarePants.
It is square, right enough.
You're not a fan?
2 hours of it. I couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Did you hear about the old fella, Hogmanay?
No, what'd you do?
2 a.m. walking up the road.
Yeah.
Where are you at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Sonny and Cher were walking up the road at 2 a.m.
Were you at a party?
reliving our youth.
How far did you walk?
It's about to be fair, it's about 10 or 12 minutes.
Tell me something. You're old fashioned, right?
No offence.
No, but do you still like somebody to first foot you that's got black hair and all that nonsense?
No. We
You superstitious, are
we were in my daughter's house, therefore, it wasn't our place. But I don't go in for all that stuff.
Does anyone still do that?
I don't know.
Do you live in some sort of rural community to be like really into that, like the community spirit, and everyone would come together?
I seen my family when I was growing up. You weren't allowed out till 1 minute after 12 or the first food.
And then what do you do? You go to someone's house. You take like what's the tradition, Hugh?
Coal.
You take a
piece of coal.
To be honest, it was a nightmare because I was married then. I had to get up the road. My dad was.
It's a nightmare if they bring you coal and you've got electric fire.
My family used to send me out about 2 minutes to 12 with someone, and I'd be standing at the door.
You would come back in.
And
I don't think that's how it works.
And you'd hear the bells going off in the telly and everybody, Happy New Year! And then I'd have to ring the doorbell and somebody would be, oh, there you are.
I wonder who it is.
That to me sounds a lot less like tradition and a lot more like they just didn't like you.
I
So
swear.
like your family actively did not want to spend the bells with you. Have you ever thought about it that way?
Me and another. And we used to just be standing there
Who's
and just
another?
speaking like another family member, and you'd hear all them going after heads with the bells in there.
So you never got to share that bit of it.
I'd always be outside. And you'd then come in
Through
with
the
shortbread.
letterbox.
And you'd hear all the celebrations going off in the street.
And then you
surely
come
there's
in.
somebody else that's been.
I'm not having that.
No.
Never.
As I've said, they've actively chosen to not spend the bells with you every year.
So just for that 2 minutes, just stand outside and you'd hear them all counting down. 10, 9, and I'm just standing with a family member.
I wish we could be a part of this.
Been busy this week.
Imagine just looking round the living room, right? Who do I like the least? Right, we'll send them out and make them pretend that they're a stranger.
And I give them shortbread
I'd
and whiskey.
be afraid to go out in case he didn't let me back in.
It was a lonely
So
few
there was
minutes.
no first footing done anywhere. No, is that a dying tradition?
I think that's finished now, isn't it?
It's a shame because
You know what,
I like
Andy?
explaining to my kids. like this is the way it used to be. I used to get chucked outside with 2 minutes to go, but they just don't
I
understand
hadn't
it
even
now.
thought about that until you mentioned it there, Gordon, because my daughter came to take her old dad to work today, and she was
Your first foot?
theoretically the first foot. Yeah,
Good point. No one's no. I don't know if this is a popularity thing. I've not had anyone visit. I don't think yet.
I visited
This
my
year.
mum yesterday.
That's a good
And,
point, Hugh Keevins. I in theory could make it quite some time into the new year before that happens.
Yeah.
Probably be a
Well,
delivery
they are
driver.
11:45 this morning.
She meant to bring you some sort of gift to mark the
But
occasion.
I
No?
hadn't even thought about
She
first
brought
foot.
you a lift to work.
She
Yeah.
got me a lift to work, dropped me off to buy a paper on the way. An old-fashioned guy.
You don't have to answer the door in that tuxedo to anyone.
No, nobody chat my door.
Mark
I'm
Brown is on in the tuxedo. He says Gordon Dalziel 007, 0 paid for the tux, 0 inches of give, and a 7-inch nose.
I'm glad how you're reading the ones out, Gordon. No compliments there at all.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
But it's all the 007 ones in particular that are tickling me. So
I tell you what, I'm desperate to see all these people there that are giving these comments about 0 this, 0 that, 7.
It's 'cause they love
I'd
you.
love to see the state of these geezers.
It's because they
you know
take,
what I mean?
it's said
I
with
would
kindness,
love
I'm sure.
to see the state of some of these people.
Ryan has sent a message to say you don't think you can first foot your own house, which is even sadder for Mark. But I
That's
think
true.
that's
You're
true.
not
I
allowed.
don't think
It's
you
got
can
to
do
be a
that.
stranger.
No,
You can't just go out the back door and come in
Come
the
in
front.
front.
That's not how it works.
Guess who's here?
well, that was when I was a wee boy, but I kept
Mate, you
I kept
just-
the tradition all the
you-
way up till I was an adult.
That tells me you weren't loved. I'm gonna tell
I
you.
found it funny how my sister was always
Exactly.
in this.
Sorry to open these wounds many years on, but I think you were not favoured in that house. This is a good one for the new year. Kilmarnock have had a yellow card for time wasting in the first half.
Yeah.
David Watson booked already. Let's round this off, Hugh, and see
Okay.
if we got any correct answers.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The 4 players to have scored a hat-trick in the Premiership during the 2023 calendar year were Kevin Nisbet, when he was at Hibs, scored a lot in a 3-2 win over Motherwell. Josh Campbell, Hibs, scored in a 6-0 win over Aberdeen and cost Jim Goodwin his job. Warren Shankland for Hearts scored in a 6-1 win over Ross County, and Jordan White of Ross County scored in a 3-1 win over Dundee United.
Well done to the winners. I'll announce them in a second because we have got one of these at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it is Ross McCausland, Rangers' first goal scorer of the new year. It was Dessers with the pass. He took his time, he slots it beyond the goalkeeper, and Rangers lead a very good time to score and a tidy finish as well.
Oh, what a finish that is, but what a pass from Dessers, and exactly the time you want to score. Kelly would started to put a wee bit of pressure on, and they've been caught in the counter attack. But I thought McCausland was good at Celtic Park, especially the first half. He carries a threat, pace, and he's direct, and this one a good finish across the goalkeeper.
That's a great finish. Terrific ball. You've got to say Dessers picks that out. You know, it's a difficult ball to play.
It's
but
a
he
great pass, actually.
He plays
you've got to
it
credit where
brilliantly.
it's
He
due.
doesn't need to break stride. Waits to the goalkeeper, makes his move, and slides it into the corner. Great time to score for
And
Rangers.
such is the way of it for Derek McInnes, Mark. As good as it is from Rangers, it comes about because Kilmarnock are up the pitch.
Yeah.
And it's just that age-old debate we have on here. Celtic and Rangers fans phone in and they say, it's rubbish when teams just come and sit in. But there's every chance if Kelly had sat in, they take this blank scoreline into half time. That's the balance you need to strike, isn't it?
Without doubt, but I think Derek's team sensed that they were getting somewhere. They were putting a wee bit of pressure on Rangers, but they left themselves exposed, and it's Watson who's left isolated with McCausland, and he's left too much room inside him. I still think Watson should have intercepted the pass. As good as it was, he should have maybe done a wee bit better with that, but take nothing away from the touch and finish from McCausland.
I don't think you can, criticise Kilmarnock for making a game of it.
No, it wasn't a criticism. It's just there's an irony there. I think that
there's also another.
You get a bit ambitious, and then that's when you concede.
There's another irony there in that had it been McCausland's pass to Dessers, would you be absolutely sure it would have been a goal? But it's a fantastic pass from Dessers, to give the man some credit. And Clement has clearly appreciated Ross McCausland from the moment he get inside the door at Ibrox, and he's a very important player for Rangers now.
Great time to score, Gordon, because Rangers started pretty well and it looked like a goal was coming, but then you just wondered, was this going to be another one of those frustrating halves? But you pick your moments well and it just changes everything going into the break.
And up until then, I think you've got to say Kilmarnock had the best chance of the game.
Absolutely.
And a chance I think you should do a lot better, but all credit to Jack Butland, good save. That's what he's there for. He's a top class goalkeeper. But look, I'm delighted. Derek was having a go. His players they found a bit of confidence. They were up the pitch, they fancied it. But that's what happens against good players, they get caught.
And sometimes once the floodgates open,
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Abdallah Sima, he might not be here for much longer before he heads off to the African Cup of Nations, but this is a great strike. It's high into the net, and a game which was looking close, it was looking in the balance, might now be beyond Kilmarnock already. Quick as a flash, Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, that's that game done and dusted.
Lovely Hugh.
He's broken it already.
But Hugh is right, you'd suspect.
Long way back.
Back.
Great strike. Abdallah Sima, who's been in good goal scoring form at the start of the season, and he almost chest controls the ball over Joe Wright's head and then volleys it in. If he meant that, spectacular. Let me tell you that the third place in the first half teaser was James Crockett, second place was Kieran at the movies, and the winner was Colin Watt. Well done to you. Half time, Dingwall, Dave Galloway.
Yeah, half time, it's Ross County 0, Aberdeen 2. Gordon, bright start by the visitors with Leighton Clarkson looking particularly good, setting up Jamie McGrath, whose shot was deflected just wide, and a lovely through ball sent Dante Polvara scampering goalwards, but Ross Laidlaw raced off his line to clear just and no more, getting to the ball before Polvara could strike. Ross County tried to hit back with James Brown's dangerous cross punch clear by Kelleroos, but Aberdeen went ahead after 25 minutes. Bojan Miovski was tackled by Jack Baldwin. The ball broke to Jamie McGrath, who drilled the ball into the net. 5 minutes later it was 2-0. Great work by Leighton Clarkson, who nutmegged Jack Baldwin before supplying Jamie McGrath for a tap-in and his second of the game. It was almost 3-0 when Bojan Miovski drove from the edge of the box, and it was turned round the post by Ross Laidlaw. County nearly got one back when Simon Murray's effort from a tight angle, well struck, but it was blocked by Kelleroos, and behind it went for a corner kick. The home side not out of it at this stage, but a much improved performance so far from the visitors. Ross County 0, Aberdeen 2.
It is also half time at a few of the other games already. Hibs, how's that going, Fraser Wishart?
Half time, Hibernian 1, Motherwell 1. A lively start to the game and very open. Good game, good tempo. Hibs on top for most of it. 2 good goals, and I think Hibs will feel they should be ahead. They've had the better of the game and most chances. Could only take one. And it was an individual goal by Elion, really good goal. But Motherwell got back in to the game on level terms. A really cleverly worked goal by Theo Bair. Jai Tavares really lively in the early stages on the left hand side, linking well for Beta, going past Blair Spittle on a number of occasions, worked in a couple of great low crosses right across the 6-yard box. No Hibs strikers able to get on the end of it. Then Christian Deutsch brought out a really good save from Liam Kelly with a volley on the turn with his left foot. It's pushed away by the goalkeeper low to his left. Really sharp save. It took Motherwell a bit of a time to get into the game. First 20 minutes the only left, it was a half chance from Mika Biereth. Actually a good header from a George Gent cross, just drifted inches wide. But Tavares more likely to create anything. He was getting in behind the makeshift right wing back Spittle time after time. Newland Levitt running the show in midfield. It was all Hibs. A clever corner by Hibs ended up with Dylan Levitt getting a good shot away from 18 yards. A really good block in front of goal by Harry Payton to stop the opener. But the opener did come in 28 minutes when Hibs took the deserved lead. Johan got the ball on the right hand side. He cut inside onto his left hand side and been past 3 defenders and scored a really clever low shot at Kelly's left hand post. 35 minutes against the run of play. Motherwell equalised. Really clever play on the left hand side. Payton fed it into Biereth, who was near the byline. He had a really clever reverse pass into the path of Theo Bair, one touch, and a good finish past Marshall by the big striker. In fact, it could have been worse for the Hibernian, because 3 minutes later Motherwell almost took the lead. Harry Payton with a fierce shot from the edge of the box, beaten away by Marshall. The rebound hit Slattery. He didn't know much about it. It looked as if it was going to drift into the back of the net, but Marshall got up to make a decent save. More of the same in the second half would do. Looks like there could be more goals here at Easter Road. Half time, Hibernian 1, Motherwell 1.
Half time at Ibrox. Here's Gabriel.
Half time and it's Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0. Ross McCausland gave the host a crucial opener after 42 minutes, and Abdullah Sima doubled the Gers' advantage with a brilliant volley just before the break. What a time to score, and 2 lovely goals as well. Now, early on, Rangers had plenty of the ball, but they failed to create any clear-cut chances. Cyril Dessers hit the outside of the post within the first 10 minutes with a turn and left-footed shot. The Nigerian striker then headed over after about half an hour. A good ball in from Rid van Yilmaz, but that was about it from Philippe Clement's side going forwards. Kilmarnock actually had the first golden chance of the game, and it was when substitute David Watson did well in the middle of the park. He took the ball off to Todd Cantwell and just slipped in captain Kyle Vassell, and he looked certain to score. He was sprinting through. He had pretty much the whole half to himself. Vassell took his time, went to slot it in, but Jack Butland spreaded himself so well. A huge save, and how many times have we said that about the Rangers stopper this season? It looked as if the game was heading to the break as a stalemate, but that changed after a brilliant pass from Cyril Dessers unlocked the killer defence. Ross McCausland took his time, calmly slotted the ball past Will Dennis in the goal, and then before you knew it, Gordon, it was 2. A chest and a wonderful volley high into the roof of net from Abdullah Sima, playing for the last time before he heads off to the African Cup of Nations. And it could be all over here after looking like it might perhaps be a long afternoon. It's a question now of how long until we see new boy Fabio Silva. That's what the fans here will want to see in the second half. It looked like it might be a little bit nervy. 2 massive goals, giving Rangers a huge advantage at the break. It is Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
And let's get the final one from David Friel. Livingston taking on Hearts.
Half time, Livingston 0, Hearts 0. Goalless at the break here, but both sides half had chances. David Martindale slaughtered these Livingston players after the defeat to Motherwell on Saturday. He's got the reaction he wanted against Hearts today. Liverpool on top for the first 25 minutes. They could have scored inside 2 minutes. James Penrice fired in a great corner. Ayo Obalai's close range header was saved by Xander Clark. The rebound then fell to Obalai, but his defender fired the volley over the bar. Livy then thought they'd taken the lead in 10 minutes. Andrew Shinney's cross picked out Curtis Guthrie. His glancing header found the bottom corner, leaving Clark with no chance. It was a brilliant finish, but a VAR check showed he was marginally offside and the goal was disallowed. Livy continued to look lively, but Hearts finally fashioned a chance in 34 minutes. Alan Forrest low cross rebounded back to Lawrence Shankland, and he was off balance as he volleyed over the bar from 10 yards. The Hearts captain was beginning to get service and flicked a header off the bar from Peter Herring's cross. Kenneth Vargas then fired over the bar just before the break as Hearts finished really strong. Stephen Nath's side will definitely come into this, but this game remains in the balance. Half time, Livingston 0, Hearts 0.
And we'll do a full roundup of those half-time scores, and there's team news from Paisley coming.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time scores from around the country then as follows. As usual, we will start with the Scottish Premiership. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1, Livingston 0, Hearts 0, Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0, and Ross County 0, Aberdeen 2. In the Championship, Airdrie 0, Inverness 0, Arbroath 0, Dundee United 1, Dunfermline 1, Wraith Rovers 1, Morton 1, Ayr 0, and Partick Thistle 1, Queen's Park 1. That is pretty much it for Scotland today. Remember, games off: Dundee against St Johnstone and St Mirren Celtic still to come. Speaking of which, Andrew McLean, give us the team news ahead of that one if you can.
Yes, well, Celtic, the players have arrived, some of them just having a wander out on the pitch a few moments ago. You wonder if they'll be aware of the score at Ibrox. They'll want to make sure they keep that gap they extended by beating Rangers at the weekend, and maybe a bit of a psychological advantage if they can make sure they go into that break ahead, even if you take the games in hand out of the equation. St Mirren haven't had a great time of it recently, but what a win it was for them at the weekend. But if you speak to Stephen Robinson, he'll tell you that that was coming, because despite the poor spell that they were on in terms of results, their stats had actually been better. He would rhyme them off for you in terms of shots, in terms of chances created, entries into the box, all actually better than that really good spell they had at the start of the season. So he'll be hoping that that's them now back on track. If they're to get a result today, though, they'll have to do it without a couple of key players. No Mark O'Hara and no Keanu Bacchus either. Lewis Jameson also drops out of the starting lineup. In come Flynn, Boyd Muntz and Olasanya. So it's Zach Hemming in goal for them. The back three: James Bolton, Alex Gogic and Richard Taylor. Marcus Fraser will be the right wing back, Scott Tanzer the left wing back. The three in midfield: Ryan Flynn, Caelan Boyd Muntz and Greg Kiltie. Toyose Olasanya and Mikael Mandron are the front two. The substitutes are Minsky, Pomono, who is the new signing, who's on the bench for the first time today, Dunn, Small, McMenamin, Jameson, Nakmani and Ayunga. As for Celtic, just the one change, an enforced change as well. Stephen Welsh going off injured in that game at Celtic Park at the weekend. Mike Nawrocki came in, he impressed in that game as well, and he gets a start. So it's Joe Hart in goal, the back four, Alistair Johnson, Mike Nawrocki, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. The midfield three, Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo and Matt O'Reilly, Dyson Maida and Luis Palma either side of Kyogo. The substitutes: Bain, Lagabielka, Abada, Yang, Turnbull, O, Hatate, Ralston and Mikey Johnson.
And the second half of the 3 o'clock games is coming up next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel in the studio. We're building up to kick-off now at St Mirren against Celtic, but we've got 3 o'clock games that are about to go into their second half. Let's go back to Ibrox and get the lay of the land with Gabriel.
Gordon, the Kilmarnock team just emerging from the tunnel there. Just going to quickly check if there's any changes to them, but it looks similar. There was an early change, David Watson coming in to the midfield for the injured Liam Donnelly. Got to say that, Gordon, in the first 30 minutes Rangers didn't create too much, and Killy started to grow into it, threatening to sting them on the counter-attack. That's where their best chance came, when Vassell was slipped through. He really should have scored. A great save from Jack Butler nonetheless, but he should have taken his chance. But since Killy grew into the game, Rangers then had the chance to counter themselves, and that's where they got their 2 goals from just before the interval. Ross McCausland and Abdel Sima with lovely finishes. But since we're expecting them to grow in confidence, Rangers, with that 2-goal lead, I wouldn't expect Killy to muster as much of a threat in the second half. But the big question that fans are asking me and asking people around here is, are we going to see Fabio Silva, the £38 million man from Wolves? Cyril Dessa's not had a brilliant first half, missed a few chances. He did create that brilliant pass for McCausland's opening goal. But it'll be interesting to see if we still see Silva and how long we do see him, Gordon. Don't have any Rangers players out yet, so I'll let you know if they do make any changes.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get your prescription delivered straight to your door free of charge.
Here we are then. It looks like the wait would go on to see Fabio Silva, but surely at some point, and surely Hugh Keevins, it takes something out of the ordinary for Rangers to not win this game now.
Exactly. You have to be true to your own intelligence here and say that at 2-0 up and at home and playing with the benefit of 2 terrific goals, that it's the perfect platform for Fabio Silva to come on. Probably at the famous hour mark he'll come on. It's then a case of, if not, why not? So, you know, it's the perfect platform, and he has half an hour. The guy, we understand that he perhaps took the wrong path, went to the wrong club at the wrong stage of his career, too young, too much of a transfer fee. It all took its toll. But the guy must have something for people to put out the kind of money that's been put out for him. I understand he was on £80,000 a week at Wolves. So Rangers have pushed the boat out to get him in terms of they're not paying £80,000 a week, but they were paying a hefty amount of that. So time to find out what he's all about.
For Derek McInnes, Mark, it's just the killer, isn't it? That second goal just changes absolutely everything. Probably already looking at getting in level at half time, never mind being 2 down.
Yeah, football's cruel at times, because Kilmarnock have been okay, no doubt about it. Rangers have created the better opportunities in that first period, but then when he sees Vassell going through and goal, it's a great save from Butland, and then his team, you know, not camped but round about the Rangers box near the end of the half, he's probably thinking, we've done a real good job here, and then all of a sudden 2 goals within 3 or 4 minutes just kills the game. Look, he'll try and get back in it. If they score the next one, the old cliche, the game's back on, but I think they'll find it very hard.
Penalty, Hearts. Now, Lawrence Shankland scored 15 out of 15. He then missed one in the Edinburgh Derby. He's going to take the next one, surely.
100%.
It was Mikey Devlin on Alan Forrest, the former Livingston man.
Well, at least he gets a penalty this time.
I was going to say, I get it, it's the supply and demand element of it, but you think of all the fallout from the Old Firm game. What about that? incident in the Hearts game.
Outrageous
That is the
decision.
worst call of the weekend by a mile. Stephen Naismith raging about it, isn't
Well, outrageous decision by the on-field referee, but for VAR not to think that that was a clear and obvious error is equally as outrageous. So maybe they're getting their just rewards today.
Shankland taking it?
Yeah, he's got the ball, certainly. It looks like Mikey Devlin injured himself in giving away the penalty. That's a bad combination, that, isn't it? Actually, Aberdeen have the ball in the net, but it's disallowed for offside.
They seem to be cantering it there in Dingwall. Interested to hear Derek Adams' assessment of the situation at time up.
Your Hearts are going to appeal that booking to Alan Forrest, of course. You can do that if it's for diving. I think that's the rule, isn't it? Or simulation, as the technical term may still be. Mikey Devlin still down. He's just had unbelievably bad luck and misfortune with injuries over recent seasons, so that would be a real blow for him personally if that was to continue to look as ominous as it does now.
But it's the story of Livy's season. I think they've gone in front. VAR disallows the goal. Now it's a penalty for Hearts, and not only a penalty for the visiting team, but your player is injured in the concession of the penalty. Livy's story.
It's the worst timing. You've come out of the dressing room, the manager's probably had a very positive half-time team talk, and you're staring, going behind to a Lawrence Shankland penalty.
And he doesn't take these things well, because you wouldn't. But I remember at Celtic Park a couple of weeks ago, got in level at half-time, didn't he? David Martindale's Livy.
Yeah.
And within, was it 30 seconds or 50 seconds or something of the restart?
Yep.
And then Celtic made it 2. Dundee United are 2-0 up at Arbroath. The only answer here is bring the goalie on. Just get him on.
Get
What's
him
the
to
worst
try
that can happen? And rescue something here. Glenn Middleton adding to Louis Molt's goal from earlier on. I think Thistle have retaken the lead 2-1 against it. As Lawrence Shankland steps up this time, saved.
What?
No way.
Lawrence
No
Shankland
way.
missing back-to-back penalties is unthinkable. Down the middle, saved by the feet. He was 15 out of 15, and then he misses 2 in a row. That is remarkable.
If we get to the final of Euros, he's off the penalties. He's not taking a penalty.
Too much hype about it.
Exactly.
I'll take
He's
everything
reading
back
all
I
his
said.
own hype.
Prefers left-footed from 20 yards.
Yeah, no, that is remarkable. That just shows you what football is like. Can score from all angles with all parts of his body, but can he score 2 weeks in a row for 12 yards?
Wow. Great last-ditch tackle from Corey and Daba, because Cyril Dessers was bearing down on goal, but the Killie showed good pace, got back, good timing as well. Let's do the teaser for the second half here.
Okay.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Bob Malcolm and Andrew Shinney. I was managed by Colin Calderwood and Jim Duffy. I played in both the Old Firm and Edinburgh derbies, and my last game in Scottish football was as a trialist. Who am I? I played alongside Bob Malcolm and Andrew Shinney. I was managed by Colin Calderwood and Jim Duffy. I played in both the Old Firm and Edinburgh derbies, and my last game in Scottish football was as a trialist. Who am I?
Come on, Gordon Dalziel, you were 2023's big top performer on the Who Am I? Let's see what you can come up with. That's a good question, that. There's good detail there, but not too much. At Clyde SSB, let's see if you can get the answer quicker than everyone else. Lawrence Shankland just missed a penalty. Has it proven costly for Hearts?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
No, it has not. Hearts take the lead, but it's Kenneth Vargas. It was a ball down that sort of inside left channel, a low finish from him, and he bails out Lawrence Shankland. Although Lawrence Shankland's bailed out his teammates a fair few times this season. Livy defence all over the place. They had to make a change just at the break there. I think it was Montano on for Parks. He'd been booked just before half time, and the reshuffle hasn't helped at all. Hearts now do lead 1-0 at Livingston.
If you stopped the Accas right now, I'd have 4 out of 4. Rangers winning 2-0, Hibs and Motherwell a draw, Livy Hearts, I took that for an away, and Ross County Aberdeen another away. I'd have it all screwed up.
It's a good job. There's 40 odd minutes left.
You're off to a good start this year, Hugh.
They're checking it for offside though. Probably just to spite your
Aka.
quite frankly. Claims for a penalty for Aberdeen as well after a Miovski shot in the box. So no penalty there though. That one hasn't been given. We'll wait and see what Kenneth Vargas. Hearts will be wondering if this doesn't count, what more they can do. Missing a penalty, one chopped off for VAR.
They would begin to think, I'll bet you Livy score. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, it sometimes feels that way, doesn't it? 6-7 minutes into the second half at Ibrox. Rangers still 2-0 up, as we've said before. Goal stands for Kenneth Vargas. So there we go, mark it down. And on we go, Livy 0, Hearts 1. Interesting to see Rangers approach here, if they can really put their foot to the floor, Gordon. It maybe, I don't think you can be too critical of the run under Philippe Clement, because they've done well to win the vast majority of their games. Maybe if you're being greedy, Rangers fans would have wanted a few more of those really, really convincing ones where you batter teams and send out a bit of a statement.
Yeah, there's still a bit of time. I think Kilmarnock have made a good start to the second half, but goals, the timing of the goals, especially with Derek McInnes at Kilmarnock away at Ibrox, you're thinking, right, if I can get in 0-0, first part of the job done. But all credit to Rangers, 2 terrific goals, I've got to say. They'll be looking for more this afternoon. They'll be looking for that comfortable, convincing win. The next one would probably give them it, but as long as it's 2-0, Kilmarnock, they've still got a slight hope of getting back into it.
They did it a few times at the start, of course. The 4-0 Hibs, the 5-0 at Dens, but thereafter games have been a bit closer. So we'll wait and see what the outcome of this one is. I can see some interesting answers coming in on that teaser already. That's when you know it's a good question. Mark Wilson's got one wrong.
2 wrong. Aye, I'm stacking them up. Yeah, none from you.
Nothing from you yet. You've got a reputation to keep up here, you know.
I'm just putting the jigsaw together.
Right, okay. Bit of a strange schedule this. We don't often have a 5 o'clock kick-off after the 3 o'clock games. It did already bring you team news from Paisley, but maybe let's just get a quick recap of the starting 11s and a bit more of the build-up there with Andrew McLean.
Yeah, 3 changes for St Mirren. They will be missing Mark O'Hara and Keanu Bacchus, who of course are 2 of their key players. They drop out of the squad completely, and Lewis Jameson drops out of the starting lineup. In come Flynn, Boyd Muntz and Olasanya. So it's Zach Hemming that is in goal for them. The back 3, James Bolton, Alex Gogic and Richard Taylor. Marcus Fraser, the right wing back. Scott Tanser, the left wing back. The 3 central midfielders, Ryan Flynn, Caelan Boyd Muntz and Greg Kiltie. The 2 up top, Toyosi Olasanya and Mikael Mandron. Just the 1 change for Celtic. Stephen Welsh, of course, forced off against Rangers at the weekend. He's out of the squad altogether, and Mike Nawrocki is back in. Brendan Rodgers was asked about him after the game, after an impressive showing against Rangers. Said he feels he could have a big part to play in the second half of the season, so this could be the point where his Celtic career really kicks off. We'll see how he performs today. Joe Hart in goal for them. The back 4, Alistair Johnson, Mike Nawrocki, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. The midfield 3, Callum McGregor, Paulo Bernardo and Matt O'Reilly. Dyson Maida and Lewis Palmer either side of Kyogo, and also Lil Abada and Rio Hatate on the bench as well. Abada, of course, came onto the pitch against Rangers. Rio Hatate is yet to make his comeback from injury, but he's now got another couple of days training under his belt, so you wonder if Celtic fans will see him today before he heads off to the Asian Cup, along with some of the other players. Yang, Dyson Maida will also be missing, but one thing that I think will be a bonus certainly for Celtic is that Kyogo has not been called up to the Asian Cup squad. I'm sure he will be disappointed. He wants to represent his country, but it means that Celtic will definitely have him available after the winter break. And with the fact that, you know, he obviously scored an excellent goal at the weekend as well, that will be exactly what Celtic fans want to see. But with Rangers winning, Celtic will want to go into the winter break making sure they've got the same lead that they had coming into today. St Mirren much improved at the weekend, 3-0 win away to Aberdeen. Can they find a bit of form going into the winter break after a bit of a rough patch? Looking forward to this one. Think it will be a good game as the St Mirren players just make their way out onto the pitch to warm up. As you say, it is a 5 o'clock kick-off here in Paisley.
Yeah, hard to avoid, Hugh. The picture at the top, unless something drastic happens, everybody knows that Rangers are going to win this one. In fact, they've got a VAR check for a possible penalty. So again, back over to Celtic, if this stays the way it is, to go and respond in Paisley.
Well, the cardinal sin is not to go on from your win over your greatest rivals. Celtic had a very good win, scored 2 terrific goals against Rangers. Now they face a St Mirren side missing arguably their two best players in Mark O'Hara and Keanu Bacchus. You couldn't ask for any more if you were Brendan Rodgers. Kyogo will simply have to get over the disappointment of not being in Japan's squad for the Asian Cup, but he will also have the memory of that goal from the weekend, described by the Rangers manager Philippe Clement as a world-class goal. Not often you get the Rangers manager praising a Celtic goal in that particular fashion. So it's all there for Celtic. If they don't take full advantage of St Mirren's injury situation and go on from, build up the momentum from their own win over Rangers, that's their fault.
Team news wise, Mark, I don't think any great surprise there. It's pretty much the same team that played against Rangers. We know Stephen Welsh went off injured, he was never going to play, and the man that replaced him, Mike Nawrocki, comes in maybe a couple of weeks ago. You'd be wondering, is he on his way out in January, or
and I think that'd be fair, but I think his performance
hold on a minute, right? Misinformation. There was a check and it is a penalty, but it's to Kilmarnock. I mean, Rangers were the offenders. It's a John Souttar handball. He goes, it's one of those classic ones where he slides to cut out a cross. It hits his arm, his forearm is kind of up. You've just, as a defender, Mark, you're thinking that's harsh, but in the modern game, you have to just take them almost.
Listen, it's got to be, but exactly what Gordon says. What more can John Souttar do? His supporting arm goes down to break his fall, and
Danny
his other
Armstrong
arm
steps up.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Sends Jack Butland the wrong way, opens up that left foot, finds the back of the net, and maybe we do have a game on our hands. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 1.
And another conspiracy theory hits the dust. The first penalty to be awarded against Rangers for 2 years.
Oh, so it is. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
In the league.
But
just to be accurate, that's all.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, all a matter of personal opinion, I think it's a Stonewall penalty.
Yeah, I'm saying, Gordon, the rules have changed now. It is what it is, and it is. I don't think you'll get great complaints about that.
Years gone by, it's never a penalty in a million years, but in the modern day game, yes, the minute. And I think, I said Kilmarnock could have a lifeline, and they've certainly got it. That should give them a bit of confidence. I just think the rule, I think sometimes a bit unfair. I don't know what John Souttar can really do there, but obviously in the modern day
and
game,
the way the handball rule is kind of written as well. Hold on, let me tell you about this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And they've turned it round. Motherwell are in front. It was a goal against the run of play to level things up, but they've come out in this second half, and it's a fairly unlikely goal scorer. It's everyone's favourite Argentinian.
Yes,
it's Bevis Mugabe. It was a close range hit. He's not actually Argentinian, it's just a wee in-joke based on some of Gordon Dalziel's previous misdemeanours on Beat the Pundit. But anyway, a close range header. It was a Georgie Gent free kick. Hibs couldn't clear it. Bevis Mugabe with the header makes it Hibs 1, Motherwell 2. VAR check for offside though.
No.
We should be used to that by now, but
that's what I'm
nevertheless,
saying.
That's what I said to you earlier on the programme.
Promising from Motherwell.
Every time Gordan Duncan says goal, you say yeah, but will it stand? Every goal, every ground. It's the ultimate frustration for the fans, and VAR has brought that into our game.
Yeah, and it must have been in the lead up, says Fraser. Certainly doesn't think that Mugabe was off, so we'll pause there for some reflection whilst we deal with the fact that Rangers have been pegged back. John Souttar handball. What I was saying. Oh, hold on. Right, goal given. Motherwell are in front. We do have another goal at Ibrox. Which way is it gone though?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 1, and it's Todd Cantwell. He's got the new hairdo today, and it's paid off. He slides the ball into the back of the net, and just when it looks like Rangers would maybe wobble, Todd Cantwell with the perfect response restores that 2-goal lead. Oh, they're raining in now.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
He misses penalties, but who cares? Lawrence Shankland, of course. This one a lovely outside of the foot finish, and Hearts lead 2-0 at Livy. Motherwell lead 2-1 at Hibs, and Rangers 3-1 up now against Kilmarnock.
Got to say about the Rangers goal, terrific goal, worked out to Sima, brilliant first touch, reverse pass, and then played across the box where Cantwell is into finish. Very good goal. Hugely frustrating for Derek McInnes, but Philip Clement will be happy with the reaction of his side to that penalty kick that was conceded. Easy street now for Rangers, you'd suspect.
Well, now the platform is rebuilt for Fabio Silva to come on at 2-1. The whole dynamic changes and you think, well, you can just sit back down again. But at 3-1, surely it is time for the Rangers fans to get their first glimpse of Fabio Silva.
Good result that for Hearts, or scoreline for Hearts. Shankland in amongst the goals again. Shows his strength of character as well. Though misses one, at Easter Road, scores. Misses one today, doesn't take him long to score again. Then you look at Livy, that Hamilton side years ago, how many points did they finish up in? I wonder if Livy are close to threatening that, have been the worst team to go down, because they're certainly looking that way at the minute.
Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing going their way. Couldn't even get the goal to put them in front, to stand after a VAR check. So you feel for Davy Martindale, but this is the season.
Sickener for Derek McInnes as well. If we spoke about the timing in moments, conceding 2 just before the break, and then you get a penalty at Ibrox and you think you're back in it, and Todd Cantwell has other ideas. So is it over this time for the second time?
Yeah, I bet you in his post-match he'll mention that about his team, not about anything his team's been hard done by, but how his team couldn't keep Rangers out in those crucial periods. It's times to concede goals, and just before half time, those two certainly kill you and kill your half-time team talk. But when you get back in it, hold on to it for 5 minutes, let the crowd get a wee bit restless, and then you can throw everything at it. To concede so quickly, yeah, that'll be a sickener for him.
Yeah, Tavernier shot from the edge of the box, saved by Will Dennis. Just to recap then, because we got it was a long time ago, it feels like, we were talking about that Celtic team. Was that where we got interrupted?
I was just going to say Nawrocki, his performance the other day, coming into the game 30 minutes in, that's difficult to do in one of those games where the intensity is so high, the pitch is slick, you're coming on in such a crucial position.
Is it harder in that position?
Yeah, I think so, because everything's looked at through a microscope. If you make a mistake, you're the last line of defence, and you could be punished. But I thought he came on, and within about 90 seconds he had a good block, and I think that set the tone for him all afternoon, in the right position at the right time. His only downfall was giving away the free kick against Tavernier, but look, defenders do that. How many players are you going to get sticking a free kick in the top corner from that position? So I think he can be pleased with his afternoon, but this is a test now from the start. Can he do it again?
He was Celtic's marquee signing of the summer, purely and simply because he cost more than anybody else. He cost in excess of £4 million. Now, Scottish standards, that's a lot of money. He, before the game against Rangers on 30th December, had not been seen since the 20th of August. Someone will have to explain to me why you go from August 20 until December 30 and you're never seen.
I think, was there an injury in there?
Well, there may have been an injury in there, but it didn't last him from August to December. So he has a lot to prove today. He's had his moment against Rangers in what was a very good afternoon for Celtic, but he has to back it up today, because Brendan Rodgers has singled him out and said he could be very important for us in the second half of the season. Well, today he has to show why.
The whole squad's interesting now, Gordon, though, because we did see Abada off the bench at the weekend. We didn't see Hatate, so you wonder if that happens today. He won't be about for much longer because he's off to the Asia Cup, but Kyogo will be. And Andrew McLean mentioned that we've been building up for a few weeks on the show, taking it for granted that Kyogo will be gone and O will be away, and what are Celtic going to do? All of a sudden, maybe people did get carried away, because he doesn't always make the Japan
squad. No, he
squad.
doesn't, does he? I think if you're a Celtic fan waking up to that news, and probably Brendan Rodgers as well, you're delighted. A bit selfish, because I'm sure Kyogo would have liked to went and represented his country like every other player. But it's a real plus for Celtic, because I think Celtic had a bit of a headache if that was going to be the situation, especially getting into a real important time, January, when they come back for the winter break. But it's been interesting to see who they add to their squad as well. And I think Celtic will get a tough game today, but I'm very confident they'll go and pick the 3 points up. Of that, there's no doubt for me.
They have to buy in the summertime, in the window rather, because Brendan Rodgers has already specified that he wants 4 quality players, not projects, not experiments, 4 oven ready for the Premiership players. And the fact that you've got Kyogo is a great thing for Celtic, but Kyogo is still liable to have an injury. He's got that dodgy shoulder, or whatever takes him out of the side, or even if he stays in the side. Celtic need adequate cover.
Are we going to see the new signing at Ibrox today? There's a time that clock keeps ticking away.
Yeah, Dessers there had a decent chance. He just couldn't quite pull the trigger early enough. The shot got blocked. It spins up over the bar. We're at 66 now. The game is probably wrapped up, Hugh. Maybe Fabio Silva o'clock.
Well, yeah, for sure, because
he's getting ready, I can tell you.
Yeah, we're off for 3 weeks in terms of the Premiership, so get him on now, give the crowd a look, and Philippe Clement will be hoping that the brief look they get at him will be a memorable one.
You can just imagine the feeling inside Ibrox, much like when the number 12 was called back at Celtic Park. The fans would just that ripple of excitement.
They loved it. Yeah, there was nothing better when you were running along the touchline, just getting your stuff off, and people are shouting, "We don't want you on."
Get somebody else on. Mark, come here, take him with you and stand outside the main building.
On that, back to the discussion about first footing in the first half, you actually got a lot of support.
Did I? I knew that people would be with me.
Ian Mackay, Sandra, David Rayburn all said that they understand. They used to get papped out just before midnight, and then you would shut the door and come
there
inside.
We go. I knew I couldn't be the only one that was unliked by my family.
I'm not sure I'm having that.
Nah, near am I, to be fair.
They
weren't
spoken.
Listen, you just listen to names there. They probably weren't family members who didn't like them either.
Well, that's what David says. How loved do I feel? Because I still get sent outside, and I've been getting done for 30 odd years. I was told it was because I'm dark haired and handsome, but I'm now thinking that is because
was that not supposed to be what you're dark haired and tall and handsome? And right, so that puts his argument to bed. You can't tell me at his young age.
I'm a lot fairer haired now. I used to be darker in my younger days.
Look at that much. No chance.
Look at that much.
I'll tell you one person who never get put dark hair and handsome. The guy sitting at Easter Road, Wisher.
She's really going for him in the New Year.
Poor Fraser.
He stay there.
He's never got the right to reply because he's always doing the post-match or the pre-match.
As well as he's noticed that Roger Hanna's not on the show today, so he's got another target.
I'm going to have to wish her after that comment last night.
Silva and Sterling coming on again for different reasons. I think Rangers fans will be happy to see Silva, obviously, but maybe feel that Sterling deserved a place in the starting 11 today as well. So you'll get a good response.
He had a very best Rangers player against Celtic. Not the best player in the park, but the best Rangers player.
I wonder, is he going into midfield? Because has he just turned into a midfielder now?
Tell you in a second. Right, recap that teaser for us, Hugh, whilst we can.
Okay, I have played alongside Bob Malcolm and Andrew Shinnie. I've been managed by Colin Calderwood and Jim Duffy. I played in both the Old Firm and Edinburgh derbies, and my last game in Scottish football was as a trialist. Who am I?
What a list of wrong answers. Sean Swift thinks it's Derek Riordan.
Nope.
Sai.
I was convinced it was
Sai. Neil McCann.
No, nearly.
Marky P. Russell Latipi.
No.
A few saying that. Gordon Dalziel now has the answer.
Yes.
Sean Ross thinks it's Mark Brown.
No.
Lots of people, including Jamie, thinks it is Lee Griffiths.
No.
Okay, keep your guesses coming. Gordon Dalziel's got it right. Here we are, a debut for Fabio Silva. Cyril Dessers and Kieran Dowell go off. He comes on alongside Dujon Sterling. A big cheer for Ibrox's new number 7. Let's see what he can do in his first, what is he getting, 25 minutes probably all in.
The dream debut is a goal, of course, but what comes thereafter is that you show immediate signs of being better than those who are there before you. And to be fair to Philippe Clement, he has taken players and they were signed by Michael Beale and he's made them better. Dessers maybe the exception at the moment, but Fabio Silva's here for a short time. Rangers can't afford them. Rangers are pushing the boat out to pay part of his Wolverhampton Wanderers wage, and he's got to make a difference in terms of the title race. It's as simple as that. He's here to help them win the title.
Yeah, I wonder if Rangers fans are so scarred by some of the unfortunate ones this season that they're just hoping he makes it through this fit and available and fine to carry on after the international break. And so many new signings, Gordon, it feels like, have come in and then became unavailable very quickly.
Yeah, that's the problem. You come up, you're so desperate to hit the ground running, especially at a club like size of Rangers, and obviously if you go to Celtic as well, it's so important that you, especially if you're centre, go out there, get as many games on your belt, start hitting the back of the net, you become an instant hero. So we wish the lad good luck. It'll be interesting to see what he brings.
Possible penalty for Livingston. They're just checking it. Potential handball. Even when they got one to try and get them out of their sticky run a few weeks ago, they missed it. So we'll see what happens here.
Was it Bruce Anderson?
It was. Dylan Levitt's gone off. Malotnikov has come on for Hibs as they look to try and get level against Motherwell at Easter Road. The Steelmen lead by 2-1. So it was a very interesting afternoon set up. We've given you team news from Paisley and we'll continue to build up to that game. Very interesting team for St Mirren. A few absentees that they otherwise would have liked to call upon. Mark O'Hara, Keanu Bacchus as examples. And Celtic, kind of as you would expect, Mike Nawrocki. And what it means, Mark Wilson, is the knock-on effect is that Gustav Lagerbielke comes back on to the bench. Again, we don't see much of him.
Again, to agree with Hugh a bit about this, Lagerbielke, unless Nawrocki had an injury a couple of weeks ago, was ahead of Nawrocki. Then it switched.
No, but I'm not.
Then it switched.
What are you basing that on?
Well, because Nawrocki wasn't on the bench, was he, against in the European game?
Yeah, but he's not in the
European squad. There you go.
You might be right though. There might be a couple of game. But I do think Nawrocki appeared back on the bench first. Lagerbielke had to play in Europe. Scored.
Very well be right with that one. But it's a situation where we often don't see both of them in the squad, in the matchday squad at the same time. You usually see one in the stand and one in the bench.
You will, because Carter Vickers and Welsh it kind of looks like that's the only reason for it, Hugh. Because I remember that night in Europe when he scored, we had this big sort of debate that night in the show, because remember Stephen Welsh was named in the starting 11 and Gustav Lagerbielke came on and scored. And I got lots of tweets and people saying, you all said he was finished. Here he is coming on and scored. Well, we've not seen him since, and it looks like he still might be.
There's no denying the eccentric nature of Celtic's business in the summertime, because no one will convince me that £7.5 million spent on Lagerbielke and Nawrocki has been justified by the amount of game time they've had. And at the weekend, speculation that Marco Tilio is going back to Australia. 1.5 million, played 28 minutes. I'll use the word eccentric, and I'm being kind. Eccentric buying. I'm not including those who were signed and have never been seen since. But you can't tell me that Lagerbielke and Nawrocki have made a big impression on Brendan Rodgers. Otherwise he'd have played far more.
I offer you this comment, this update from Livingston, with no further information needed and no judgment attached. They're checking a penalty for handball, and they have gone on to now check that incident for offside. Just in case you forgot that that's the way things work. Referee goes to the screen and he awards a penalty on this occasion. So there was no offside in the build-up, and there is a handball. So Livy get a penalty, a chance to get themselves back into it against Hearts. Big chance. Todd Cantwell, good save though. Will Dennis.
See if you were a Livy player taking that penalty, you'd be terrified.
He's one of the men who features on the Andrew Shinnie, one of your clues to the second half teaser.
Played alongside the person I got there.
Yeah, well, obviously he did.
Oh, well done, not mentioning. I would have.
And his brother Graham plays for Aberdeen, and they've gone 3 up.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Miovski fires into the bottom corner. Aberdeen home and hosed. Can't wait to hear what Derek Adams makes of this one. What about that Livy penalty?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Game on at the Tony Macaroni. Livy 1, Hearts 2. Do we have a comeback on our hands?
They're shocked they're now checking it was Livy that scored.
As Todd Cantwell misses what looked to me like a pinch to make it 4-1 for Rangers.
I don't think
big goal though, Livy. Do you think that's going to?
I don't think we'll see a comeback.
No? Yeah, it's enough to wobble Hearts.
You think it'll be?
I think there's a draw written all over that.
I think Hearts will see it out.
We Dave will get a draw.
It's certainly an emotional roller coaster for David Martindale and all associated with Livingston. You know, I thought they'd taken the lead. VAR disallowed the goal. Go 2 down, and Hearts miss a penalty into the bargain. Now their one penalty, it's 2-1. The Dazzler could be right. It's that kind of roller coaster of a day where anything's possible.
They'll get a boost from that, Hugh. They'll get a big lift from that. They'll come back. Davey will do a couple of tactical switches, formation style. Boom, 2-2.
Okay, good prediction. We'll see what happens.
Happy.
Another reminder of your teaser, Hugh, just so we can let as many people as possible get involved.
I have played alongside Bob Malcolm and Andrew Shinney. I have been managed by Colin Calderwood and Jim Duffy. I played in both the Old Firm and Edinburgh derbies, and my last game in Scottish football was as a trialist.
Peter McNamee thinks it's Scott Wilson.
Oh no.
I can see lots of you are getting it right, to be fair. Now the penny is starting to drop. Bailey thinks Joel Newbley, but I think we're miles off on that one, surely. Okay, keep your guesses coming. I'll round that teaser off in the not too distant future. Oh, bad news for Motherwell. This Beereth limping off. Gordon, I suppose he's got a break to square himself up if he can, but his injury layoff earlier in the season was a big problem.
Yeah, he's a big miss, especially in that forward area where we'll need to score goals to make sure we start climbing that league. So you're right, Gordon. The only consolation is there's a couple of weeks he can get sorted out and be back ready for when the season starts up and coming again.
What scoreline that is though? At Easter Road? 2-1.
It's amazing, isn't it? You don't get a result and then Livy, and then you go to Easter Road, front of a big crowd.
Still a long way to go in that one though. Louis Moult has Dundee United 3 up at Arbroath. They've obviously not brought on the goalie, sub goalie.
Nah.
But I know it's a long way to go. If Motherwell win that, right, and they think of the criticism,
can we not do that?
I'm just going to tempt fate, but they go level in points with Dundee, 2 points behind Hibs.
If we will see.
And they won 2 and 17.
Exactly. I mean, how crazy is that?
See, they won 4 and 17 total.
It would have been high.
James Tavernier free kick, well saved, was going bottom left, but Will Dennis produces the save. Hibs are putting pressure on Motherwell, defending the box well though. No clear Hibs chances as of yet. Will Dennis had to get down, as I said, to push away that James Tavernier free kick. And we're building up to the game in Paisley.
Well, the task in front of Celtic is perfectly straightforward. Rangers are 3-1 up. Will get all 3 points. The gap is now 5 points, and Rangers are 2 games in hand. St Mirren are minus their 2 best players, and you are coming off the back of a win against Rangers. Everything points to Celtic. If it doesn't turn out that way, I would submit that's Celtic's fault.
It wouldn't be the first fixture you would choose though. Is it you're looking at out with the obvious, kind of Rugby Park, St Mirren. These are the places you're not desperate to go, are you, because of how tough they can be?
Yeah, I do think it will be a tough night for Celtic, but I think they've just got the quality to go and win it. I know that they've suffered there before.
Yeah, the last 3 visits. Now the most recent one was a 5-1 win, but remember Charles Dunn gets sent off early on, and then before that it was a 2-0 St Mirren win and a 0-0 against Ange Postecoglou's free-flowing, domineering Celtic
you never
team.
get it easy, Gordon. You know that St Mirren will be well organised. They'll work very hard. They'll make it difficult for Celtic. But I just think after the win at the weekend and the way Celtic are, I think they'll win this afternoon. I think they'll be coming back down the M8 with the 3 points in the bag.
You're taking out Giannabakis and Mark O'Hara. You're significantly weakening St Mirren and the quality that Celtic have. Bernardo, as I say, prior to the game against Dundee in Boxing Day, I wouldn't have thought he had any chance of being kept by Celtic. But he scored in Dundee, scored against Rangers. He looks as if he's starting to understand what it's all about. And you of course have Kyogo, scorer of the Worldie against Rangers, and so many other things going for you. And Abada and Hatate in reserve. I mean, if you don't get all 3 points, again, it's your fault.
No, I would agree.
I
would agree
part
with
to play, I'm
I would
sure.
agree with that. You know, Celtic have the quality, but you could say that with every side
Just
at
play that
Celtic.
every week. If it's that simple, they would just win every week and would never ever drop points.
But there is a difference, sorry, going away to St Mirren, a team sitting fourth who have had a good season in a place where history shows you results haven't always gone your way as easily as they do in other places, so it will be a test.
Harry McCurdy has come on for Hibs. Remember, he's had heart problems. It's his first game since May, I believe, so certainly wish him well on the health front and hope everything is fine there. Him and Landers replacing Fish and Venti for Hibs. Anderson on for Pittman for Livy. Xander Clark had to make a save a few moments ago, so Livy, you never know.
Well, with the greatest respect to your Motherwell boys, and good luck to them, a 2-1 up, but Nick Montgomery better get the finger out here. 2 games prior to this one today, 2 losses, no goals, and now he's 2-1 down to Motherwell at home. 3 losses in a row in this league has people pointing at you.
He's got a big job to do there, Hugh. I've watched him a couple of times this season. I like the way he plays the 4-4-2, the old-fashioned style.
Funnily enough, they've now gone to the well-known 3-2-5 formation.
Hibs
to try and get a goal.
The famous 5 for Hibs.
Quite something, that.
You know what? And sometimes that's easier to play against than your 4-4-2, where people are dragging you into spaces you don't want to go and opening holes for others. When you're just playing against a 5 up top and space is so congested, you're happy just to sit in and take what's coming to you. But the guys are right. Nick Montgomery, I like the way he plays, what Daz was going to say, but he hasn't got the personnel, in my opinion, to play out from the back. His centre halves just cannot play out from the back. They invite pressure onto themselves constantly and concede goals that way. So if there's a manager in this league screaming out for his own signings, I think it's him, and I think he needs to act quickly, otherwise he will find himself in a whole load of trouble.
Wright and Matondo on, Sima and McCausland off. Sima, very important goal today, a very good goal as well, and it looks like he's off with Senegal to the African Cup of Nations as well, so Rangers fans might need to get used to being without him for a few games. But Wright and Matondo on. Let's round off your teaser, Hugh. We can always, I like to leave room for late drama.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Bob Malcolm and Andrew Shinnie. I was managed by Colin Calderwood and Jim Duffy. I played in both the Old Firm and Edinburgh derbies, and my last game in Scottish football was as a trialist, and that makes me Ian Murray.
Ian Murray, well done if you got that right. Congratulations. Now, this is the beauty of this. I've got 2 different lists in front of me. They look roughly similar. So the top 3, Michael Donati, Starbar Andrew, and the winner Derek Carkery. Well done to you. But there's maybe a suggestion that Josh Thompson has sneaked on there as well. I won't split hairs. Look, it's the first one of the new year. You can all have a place in the podium. We'll squeeze you all in. Well done to you. That is the second half teaser of the new year, and it is Ian Murray. Right, all happening here. So much to tell you in the last minute. Potential red card, VAR check for Joe Newell of Hibs, not given, and then a penalty Aberdeen. Jack Baldwin sent off for a second yellow there, so the chance for Aberdeen to really run away with this. 3-0's already a convincing score away from home, but the chance to add to it.
Surely McGrath, hat-trick.
Yeah, first hat-trick of the
Got to be.
year.
He's
still on, yeah.
Takes penalties as well.
Yeah.
Don't know if he's still on. Have to go and double check for you. Butchers come on for Payton for Motherwell as they look to try and see that one out. Butcher returning. Motherwell fans will be pleased.
Dave will be having a second big and mighty today, won't he?
There's every chance. There is every chance.
Big and mighty.
Esther Sockler was through on goal when that offence took place, so it is a penalty to Aberdeen. Still no details yet. 5 minutes to be added at Easter Road. Are we going to get late drama, or will Motherwell hold on for back-to-back wins? We will see. 5 minutes to go in the capital. I think that's probably the first game to get to that stage. I'm looking at Ibrox. There's only about 86 or so gone there, so still a bit to go in that one. 10 minutes away from kick-off in Paisley. I'm going to take you through everything you need to know there. The open line is here. We will take calls at 5 o'clock. It's just going to sound a bit different because Celtic will play at the same time. But Rangers fans, you can certainly get in touch with what you've made of today's game, what your first impressions of Fabio Silva are, how important you think it was for Todd Cantwell to score. VAR has disallowed in Dingwall
the penalty kick.
There we go. It's the old factual decision. It's a free kick. He's outside the box.
Still sent off though. Yeah, for the second yellow.
Yeah.
Anyway, for Barry Robson,
we've got VAR. It's nice to clear up those things.
Yeah.
Can't have those wrong decisions taking place.
4-0 would have been nice for Barry Robson, but 3-0 is the kind of result that buys him time, I think. There's no inclination to sack a manager who's just won 3-0.
Goal at Easter Road.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's an equaliser for Hibs and it's a double for Eli Yuan. What an end to that one. Hibs have been pushing. Motherwell were in front, but we are now level and still time for a winner potentially. Hibs 2, Motherwell 2.
I told you it'd be drama there. Don't get me wrong, look, past few weeks Motherwell have done that to other teams in the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes, getting an equaliser to salvage a point. I just thought that Fraser got a lot of goals there this afternoon because the defences to them are very, very poor.
Football turns though. Newell almost been sent off. Would have been easy. Finish the game out in style. No, wasn't the right decision.
Yeah,
and
Aka, everyone correct.
So far, we're not done yet because
start to the year, Hugh.
so it was a Bevis Mugabe who scored Motherwell's goal. He tried to deflect it. He tried to block it. Deflected up into the net. David Friel is in for another 9 minutes at Livy. 9.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
That's going to take us well beyond 5 o'clock by the looks of it. Nicholas Raskin's on. It's his first game since October. That's another boost for Rangers.
Very good boost for Rangers. I think he's been a decent signing for Rangers, and especially with the fact that they had to move Sterling into the middle of the park because they didn't have many options. So for Rangers it's very important to get him back playing.
Yeah, I think Rangers have managed this game pretty well. You know, that scare when the goal goes in, the penalty's conceded, easy to wobble, be a bit nervy, but great response from him. And you've got to be honest, he could have scored a number after that as well. And Rangers fans will be delighted at seeing new faces and old faces returning for injury. Raskin's certainly one of them. I think Cantwell, who's gone off, done well today, said at the top of the show he needed a big performance, he needed to affect things, and he did. Gets the goal.
Interesting to hear what the Rangers fans think of their new signing. He's been on
shot over the bar.
Yeah, a bit lively. He needs obviously time to settle in. This has been a good game for him. Come on.
I was going to say it's a quirk of VAR, but it's not really. Like, it's just there to clear these things up. I know that it becomes a bit a bit confusing, but you wonder what you would prefer if you're Jack Baldwin, right? Because the game's already over, remember, right? You're getting beat here. When they assess that tackle is outside the box, that then becomes a straight red for him and not a yellow.
Really? Okay.
Well, think the double jeopardy thing.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So if you're him, would you rather it's a penalty and a second booking or a free kick and a straight red?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a penalty kick. You got to be selfish in this game. Because you could lose your place.
Especially game's over as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know, but you could lose your place, and all of a sudden you're sitting there wondering when you were going to get back.
So he denies a clear goal scoring opportunity, so it becomes a straight red. Now remember, if that's inside the box and he's at least made an attempt to play the ball, it wouldn't be as severe, because they did away with the sort of double jeopardy idea a few seasons back. So there we go. Jack Baldwin, a let off for Ross County. It's not a penalty, but his second yellow gets upgraded to a straight red.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a penalty kick. I'm telling the ref it's inside. Go and check that, ref, please. I'm sure you'll find it's maybe just on the line.
Right, that was just 1 minute into 5 added on at Easter Road. Could Hibs snatch a winner?
Or Motherwell, because Hibs,
get the feeling the home side with the
I know,
momentum.
but Hibs are throwing 5 players up top. Motherwell counter attack, maybe just got the part, bit of movement, bang, the bear's there. Feed the bear, you might get a result.
Any late drama anywhere in the crystal ball, Hugh?
No, the Aka is good. It's better
there'll
than
be a
good.
goal somewhere.
It's magnificent. It's better than magnificent. It's accurate.
Yeah.
One big derby in Glasgow to finish the new year, and another to kick it off. Good game brewing still. 94-5. We're nearly done. Partick 3, Queen's Park 2.
How's Mull Club doing, Wraith?
Well, last time I
they
checked,
were winning,
your
correct?
former team Wraith Rovers, a big game that, big crowd
massive
as well. Dunfermline
used to bag a couple in that game.
2-1 to Wraith.
2-1.
Last I checked,
I'd have probably had day 2.
Full time Hibs, Fraser Wishart.
It is full time. Hibernian 2, Motherwell 2. Hibs left it late to grab a point just as it looked as Motherwell were going to go along the M8 with all 3 points. Ellie Ewan popped up with his second goal of the game 2 minutes into stoppage time after Motherwell had come from behind to take the lead through Bear and Mugabe goals. Motherwell had to weather an early storm. Hibs on top for the first half hour or so. They were really good in the first half, always looked likely to score, but only had 1 goal to show on the 28th minute. A really good solo goal by Ewan. He got the ball wide on the right. We've seen him do it so many times. He cuts inside 3 defenders and then fired home with his left foot a low shot from 14 yards in at Kelly's left hand post. Against the run of play, Motherwell equalised on 35. First time they'd really threatened Marshall's goal. A good play on the left hand side. Payton rolled the ball into BRS' feet. He was near the byline. A clever reverse pass into the feet of Theo Bear. Good touch and finish from the corner of the 6 yard by the big striker. Hibs should have been ahead at the start of the second half as well. They started in a similar manner, with a couple of really good crosses from Tavares across the face of goal. Motherwell also taking the game to Hibs when they got the chance. A very open game, but no chances despite the good play until 63rd minute. Motherwell took lead. Gent with the free kick from the left hand side. It was headed clear to Stephen O'Donnell. He kept the ball alive, looped a header to the back post. Mika Biered headed it back across the face of goal into the path of Mugabe, who couldn't miss from 2 yards. He headed into the roof of the net. It took about Hibs about 10 minutes to recover. They began to crank up the pressure on Motherwell. Sub Louis Stevenson hit the bar from 20 yards with Kelly beating Tavares and Ewan getting plenty of the ball. Motherwell camped in their own half, and Nick Montgomery towards the end threw on McCurdy and Landers playing a 3-5-2 formation, but you really didn't think they were going to get that goal until 2 minutes into stoppage time. Obita with a deep cross. It looked a simple clearance for George Gent. He miscued the ball straight to Eli Yan, who took a touch, hit a low angle shot. It was on target. We don't know whether it's going in, but it was deflected high into his own net by Bevis Mugabe, who was trying to block the shot, and the Motherwell players were lying on the floor. They knew their chance of 3 points had gone. Really good game to watch here. First of 2024. Hope there's more like this to follow. Full time at Easter Road. Hibernian 2, Motherwell 2.
Share of the spoils, a close one, not so close in Dingwall. Dave Galloway.
Ross County 0, Aberdeen 3. A really bright start by the visitors in a new look 4-2-3-1 formation, and they went ahead after 25 minutes. Bojan Miovski was tackled by Jack Baldwin. The ball broke to Jamie McGrath, who drilled it into the net. 5 minutes later it was 2-0. Great work by the hugely impressive Leighton Clarkson, who nutmegged Jack Baldwin and supplied Jamie McGrath for a tap-in. It was almost 3-0 when Miovski's drive from the edge of the box was turned round the post by Ross Laidlaw. County nearly got one back when Simon Murray's effort from a tight angle was blocked by Kellaroos for a corner kick. Graham Shinney looked to have scored Aberdeen's third goal a few minutes into the second half after beating 3 men. It was a really spectacular looking goal, only to see it disallowed for offside. The Dons were really dominant in that second period especially, and had claims for a penalty turned down following a VAR check after Jamie McGrath and Bojan Miovski had shots blocked, and only a last ditch tackle stopped McGrath getting his hat-trick. At the other end, a little bit of threat from Ross County, but not very much. Jay Henderson's shot was easily saved by Kellaroos. It was a low drive, easily gathered, but it was 3-0 after 80 minutes, and it was no surprise. Bojan Miovski evaded Jack Baldwin to charge forward and beat Ross Laidlaw, shooting into the bottom corner. And there was late drama when the Dons were awarded a penalty, only to have that overturned after a VAR review. An excellent performance by Aberdeen, one of their best for many a month, I would say. It finished Ross County 0, Aberdeen 3.
Full time at Ibrox. Here's Gabriel.
Yeah, finished Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 1 here. Philippe Clement's side cutting Celtic's lead at the top to 5 points after goals from Ross McCausland, Abdul Asima and Todd Cantwell saw off Derek McInnes's men. The Rangers actually struggled to create much in the first 30 minutes of the game. The first big chance actually came to Killie captain Kyle Vassell, who was played through after great work from David Watson, and he looked certain to score, sprinting one-on-one with Jack Butland. He had the whole half to himself virtually. He took his time. Vassell went to slot it past Butland, but he spread himself so well. A huge save And how many times have we said that this season about the Rangers stopper? Now, Killy were growing in the game and looked threatening, but that opened them up to the counter-attack, and McCausland gave the hosts a crucial opener after 42 minutes. That's exactly what happened. A brilliant pass through from Cyril Dessers unlocked the Killy defence. McCausland took his time, calmly slotting the ball past Will Dennis in the goal. And before you blinked, it was 2. Abdullah Sima with a chest and wonderful volley high into the roof of the net, although Killy defender Joe Wright had to do better. Going into the second half, you thought that might be that, but the Ayrshire side were handed a lifeline. John Suter was penalised by VAR for a handball. Danny Armstrong duly converted by sending Butland the wrong way from the spot. And it could have become nervy in here, but the Gers went straight up the other end. Rid van Yilmaz, who was impressive all day, slid the ball across the face. Todd Cantwell converted to make it 3. Cantwell himself and James Tavernier had decent chances later on that forced good saves from Will Dennis in the Killy goal. But that was that. The Ibrox faithful got to see new boy Fabio Silva. He had a 25-minute cameo. And Nico Raskan played for the first time in 2.5 months, a few minutes at the end for him. A good win for Rangers and the perfect start to the new year. It was crucial they bounced back after losing the Old Firm 3 days ago. They now head into the winter break. They'll be trailing Celtic, although they will have 2 games in hand. Full time at Ibrox Park. Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 1.
What about the game between Livingston and Hearts then, David Friel?
Half time, Livingston 0, Hearts 0.
What's happened there? I don't know. We'll get David's report in not too distant future. We've got the full-time picture pretty much everywhere, and we're kicking off in Paisley, so we'll bring you up to speed on that one next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Volvo. The big event is on now with exclusive discounts on approved used Volvos.